Hey now, with your boy PSA Sitch here with a surprise Thursday stream. Oh my god, what's going on? So sneaky. We just sneaking in here with everyone's favorite. Why won't you just pet Wormy? Adam Friended.
You know, this stream wasn't a surprise to me because we talked about it yesterday. So
We talked about it publicly on Tuesday.
oh, did we?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Look,
Listen, it's a
I'm
surprise
so
stream. It's
cool.
Thursday.
Nothing surprises me these days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
We were actually late today. I want everyone to know we were late today because Wormy wouldn't stop demanding pets from Adam.
Yes, yeah, that's his job. Pet me, pet me.
Yes. So on Tuesday we talked about we had a lot of tweets and a lot of other people like Ibram X. Kendi and Nicole Hannah Jones, and they were all doing the defense. They're all running the defense brigade for
They were.
Claudine Gay.
Oh, it was glorious and horrifying at the same time.
Yes, yes. And so I thought, like, okay, that's probably going to be the end of it. But I was wrong. Oh, how wrong I was. Because the very next day, it was like a deluge, a deluge, a tsunami, a wave of mainstream media just running so much interference for the story. It was insane. And the most insane part, or the most insane takes, were all coming from MSNBC. Oh my
Wow.
God.
Never would have guessed that.
They got rid of her because of racism. A blue, 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 blue.
Right. Yeah.
The evil, evil racist conservatives. And I want to highlight before, because we're going to watch I compiled a bunch of MSNBC clips that we're going to go over today.
Right.
This is going to be a relatively short stream, by the way. So it's not going to be like an 8-hour stream.
Did you say MSNBC? It sounded like you did.
I like that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Mainstream non-player character. That's what that stands for.
There you go.
Sitch.
That's good. MSNPC. How is that not like a meme already? Well, we're claiming it.
It is a meme.
No, I've never heard it.
People say that a lot. Yeah.
No, it's ours now.
MSNPC.
There you
and
go.
look at these two NPCs. They're like, it's just like we're in Grand Theft Auto right now. And they were coming up to the car going, racism, 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 racism.
So, but before we watch the clip, I want to talk about this AP article. Now, this AP article is kind of cuckoo bananas insane.
Right.
Because generally the AP is like supposed to be like a more neutral arbiter, like just saying like facts, not really throwing a lot of commentary onto things. They're kind of a source of news that like most other journalists use as a source of news.
I actually know the origin of the AP from reading a book. Yeah, just recently I came across that. So it's the Associated Press. It was so expensive to send telegrams across the Atlantic that a bunch of different news organizations got together as an association to share the cost of sending messages across the Atlantic so they could get news from Europe. How crazy is that?
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Someone pointed out that the thumbnail for the stream says Tuesday on it.
Well, I should change that.
Oh my God, you bastard. So the AP, which again, normally they're supposed to like kind of just saying news, not really giving a lot of commentary. They put this insanely mind-blowingly biased and retarded article about this yesterday, and they changed a lot about the article. So we have on the screen here, this is the original title of the article, okay, from AP. And it says, Harvard president's resignation highlights new conservative weapon against colleges, plagiarism.
Ouch.
And I just like the idea that like, okay, so it's like a weapon. It's a conservative weapon to find out that someone did a bunch of plagiarism, as opposed to just being like, well, they did a bunch of plagiarism. I don't know what you want from me. Like,
yeah, it seems as though they're saying, look, the left uses plagiarism all the time. I mean, come on, get with it.
Yes. And Robbie on the Hill today, he had a good point. He brought up a bunch of examples of left-wing pundits who had gone after a bunch of conservatives for plagiarism in the past, and no one was
Yeah.
like, liberal weapon against conservatives, plagiarism.
I mean, didn't we just cover an H bomber guy video that was about plagiarism, I
Yeah,
believe?
you're right. That's a good point. It's a good
Like a
point.
4-hour expose on
Hmm.
plagiarism all over YouTube that people, I mean, we did a video on it and people are still getting upset about. Oh my
That's
God.
right. Every day, some new person that we don't know or care about gets triggered about that
Yeah,
video for some
exactly.
reason.
They don't even understand it. They're like, oh, you guys are condoning plagiarism. At the same time, they're on their Twitter going, let Claudine Gay go. What's that big a deal?
Hmm.
She's only the president of Harvard, but this YouTuber did it. And oh my God. Unforgivable.
So, so this AP article got so much attack, so much backlash. They actually stealth changed the headline without telling anyone. I mean, they did it, but they didn't like. There's no note in the article that they changed the headline to make it less dumb. And they
Did
changed
you
it to this.
did you read the original headline?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Here's the new and sanitized headline.
Yes. Plagiarism charges downed Harvard's president. A conservative attacked help fan the outrage. Okay, so they
Right.
definitely toned it down a bit because they're getting so much flack, rightfully so, of doing this. So there's another thing that's interesting in the article. So obviously, I'm not going to read the whole article, but they kind of go through, downplaying any accusations of plagiarism. And they talk about, quote, duplicative language, which is plagiarism. They hyperfixate on, Blackman and Rufo being conservatives and blah, 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 blah. And they say it's all racism, all this nonsense. But there's something very interesting that like really stuck out to me about this article because it was included for no reason and it really highlights to me how insanely ideologically biased the authors of this article are and how stupid they are. And if I worked at the AP, I would immediately fire slash never let them write for me again when I read this line because it shows how insanely in a bubble of fake reality these people exist in.
Right.
And I sent you a
Could
screenshot of this part I
maybe
want to
it
read
could
here.
just be like one of the woke employees, right? Like it's the new intern.
Well, no, so well, I don't know, but the two authors of this, one person does a lot of writing for the Washington Post, too, which is obviously hyper woke. So I don't know who wrote which lines, but so I sent you a screenshot of this line. This is just insane to me. They wrote, Christopher Rufo, a conservative activist who helped orchestrate the effort, celebrated her departure as a win in his campaign against elite institutions of higher education. On X, formerly Twitter, he wrote, scalped, as if Claudine Gay was a trophy of violence, invoking a gruesome practice taken up by white colonialists who sought to eradicate Native American.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's over, Sitch.
So we
Yeah.
live
That's
in
like
some sort
straight
of,
news journalism there.
we live and the fakest of fake realities of some sort of completely fabricated world where a journalist for the AP literally wrote that the practice of scalping is something that the white colonialists did to the Native Americans to eradicate.
Right, yes. I saw this covered and they were saying that did they stealth change this because the people were saying that Native Americans did this to other Native Americans, that the
Okay, so then they
practice
did stealth
was,
change
yeah.
it, but they didn't fix it really.
Oh,
So they
okay.
stealth changed it, and all they did was they added, after the end of the sentence, they added, and also used by some tribes against their enemies.
Right. Yes.
Which I love the idea that it's like, oh, when the white people do it, it's to eradicate the Native Americans. But when the Native Americans do it, it's against their enemies.
Well, scalping wasn't something that came over from Europe, right?
No, okay, so
Scalping
right.
originated in the
Well, okay.
Americas.
So I actually looked into this because I didn't know the deep lore history of scalping, right?
Right.
And
Well,
there
it's
was,
interesting, isn't
yeah,
it?
it is interesting. And to be clear, there was scalping that existed in like specific European cultures in like, thousands of years ago or whatever, that that like it just wasn't like when the colonialists came to Native America, it was not a routine thing. I shouldn't even say colonials. When the settlers, when the British
That's better.
pilgrims, and when the Spanish, when the people came to North America, okay,
Yes.
they were not practicing scalping regularly.
Right.
That was not a thing. And
Right.
so I looked into this and it was kind of baffling because apparently at some point in American history, there was, and I hate to say it, there was some woke contingents of sociologists and archaeologists who tried to make up this completely fabricated claim that no, actually, it was the white people that came to America and they were the ones that brought scalping over. Now,
Really?
they
Okay.
know that this is 1000% untrue. Okay, because they've found lots of bodies, archaeological evidence of lots of bodies of Native Americans that were way predating any Europeans coming over that all exhibit signs of scalping.
Right.
And one of the biggest
Ooh,
examples
that's
of this,
devastating. That's like proof.
yeah, no, it's just literally physical proof. And one of the biggest examples of this is there's something called the Crow Creek Massacre site. Okay. And
Okay.
there was a site in South Dakota where there was it was where the Crow Creek Native Americans lived, and there was some giant massacre. Now, they don't really know why the massacre occurred, but this massacre occurred in 1300, okay, 1325. So way predating any, Europeans coming over. And they found around 500 bodies at this site that had all been not just killed, but mutilated. Like they're all missing
Ooh.
body parts, and like obviously something really messed up happened here. And they found that 90% of the bodies here were all scalped.
Oh, ouch.
Okay. So
Ouch.
this complete fabrication that no, it was actually the Europeans that were doing the scalping and they taught the Native Americans this. That's all a lie, just complete fabrication. So it's insane to me that this somehow made it into this AP article. And then even when they quote corrected it, they didn't correct it because there's like a couple instances of, white Europeans who saw Native Americans doing it, and then they would be like, "Oh, I'm going to put a bounty on, Native Americans, or I'm going to put a bounty on whomever, and I want you to bring me their scalps," right? Like that did happen, but it happened in response to them seeing Native Americans do it, and it
Right.
wasn't like a super wide practice thing.
It was gruesome. They were like, look, I saw you scalp a bunch of white people. Well, we're going to scalp you back.
Essentially. And so it's like it's just insane to me this AP article still has this lie as if it's like the white colonists were the ones doing it to eradicate the Native Americans. It's like, oh, okay, not really.
I found out, I thought of a better word than colonialist or settler.
What?
Immigrant. The European immigrants.
There you go. I like
How about
it. I like
that?
it.
Doesn't that just have a nicer ring to it?
Right.
Just
Right.
little immigrants coming over. Legal immigrants, actually. There was no law against them coming over. Right? That's all
true.
legal immigration.
Why are the left so against immigration, right?
I
It's
thought
just
they
European
liked
immigrants.
I thought
Yeah.
they liked immigration.
There you go. I love
Yeah.
it. You know what? That's right. We're gonna start calling it now. Immigrants.
Immigration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were
Look,
migrant workers.
they were.
They were coming to work the
coming
land,
to
right?
work the land. Yeah.
Right.
They were looking for jobs. It says all over says all over the history books that they were looking for new opportunity.
That's true.
They're basically economic migrants.
Well, you'd even say there may be refugees.
Oh, of course. They were trying to get away from the crazy religious folk.
There were religious refugees, right?
They
Running away
were.
from bigotry and violence and a monarchy. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Learn Ferg Burn Ferglermernern. What a
Oh,
name. But
nice.
thank you for the 500 Gazarkazarks. Says, thanks for keeping me entertained in 2023. I just wish you weren't such a bloody time zone supremacist all the time. Yes, that's true. We are running on America time, so
yeah, we do our best.
we do.
We record these things for you guys.
That's true, but it's
And
always more fun to watch it live.
We don't unlist them like some people do.
That's true.
Ugh. Why do they do that, Sitch? It's so
I know, terrible.
It's so mean.
Stug for $5 says, you don't understand. They mean that the Europeans were buying all the natives' baseball tickets and selling them back at an inflated price.
Oh, yeah, that's scalping too, right?
There you go. That's true. That's true. Why? You know what? I take it all back when I said the AP was correct. Cameraman 502 for $5 says the AP article could not be more of a quote conservative pounce article, short of including the phrase conservatives pounce.
Right.
There you go. Okay. So let's watch some clips here, some MSNBC clips here.
Now, this is your personal cringe compilation, right?
Yes, so I made a clip, a cringe compilation here of various MSNBC shows that we're talking about. I see it's weird too because when I started looking into this, I thought like, maybe one of them will talk about it. They basically all talked about it, just kind of shocking.
Yeah, just look, this doesn't seem like a win, but okay.
This Claudine Gay thing, and I guess I didn't really expect it to have such a
Legs.
reverberation. It
Yeah.
really stuck in their craw, and I kind of want to talk about why we think that is, but it is very fascinating to me.
Yeah. It's an opportunity to pull out the racism stick again.
Maybe. I think that's part of it. I think there's something else going on, but let's see.
Okay.
What's been happening at campuses across the country? Your take on this latest news?
Well, I think there's a lot going on here, and so we just want to be careful that we contextualize everything properly. The thing that really disturbs me is the unrelenting campaign from the right and from some conservative activists to slander, discredit, and ultimately, I guess, somebody used the phrase, we've claimed a scalp, I think, on social media, to essentially unseat gay and other presidents as well, when they don't like, not just the handling of the horrific attacks on Israel on October 7th, the way that that was handled on campus, but really anything else that they don't like about not just these presidents, but actually what they would call wokeism on campus. So this is really an attack on academic freedom.
Yeah. What happened to accountability culture?
Oh, it's freedom, Adam. Freedom of speech. Okay.
I thought, look, I'm all for bringing back the freedom of speech, but just look, I don't think it's going to last.
Well, it's so wildly dishonest when I hear this argument. And I've heard a lot of people make this argument on the left, where they say, like, this is an attack on academic freedom. And it's like, well, wait a minute. That's not what's happening here. Okay. How is this an attack on academic freedom when the academic institutions have all bought into a singular ideology? Okay. They've all bought into the singular ideology of wokeness, and they're spreading this. And they've done lots of studies, we've done lots of surveys. We do know that especially in colleges and especially in Ivy League institutions, like the number of left-wing politically biased people to right-wing politically biased people was like, what? It's like, like
10 to
20 to
1.
1,
Yeah.
like 30 to 1. It's like astronomical, especially in very specific fields. So the idea, and this is why this is just so wildly dishonest. When you say to me academic freedom, in my mind, what that invokes is this idea of, oh, you can go to college and there's going to be people that have like varying different views, and all those different views can be discussed and debated, and they won't be like off topic, right? That's what academic freedom means to me.
Right, yeah.
But that's not what's happening. What's happening is someone goes to college and it's like, oh, you just get, completely inculcated with woke ideology, and there's no one speaking out against it. And if you do speak out against it, you get, shunned by your teachers and the students around you.
Yeah, the Harvard scored very low on
They were the lowest.
Yeah, FIRE's rating. So
the lowest ever in history.
Right. Yeah, I think they got a 0.
Yeah, they actually got a negative score.
So, yeah, I just, if they wanted to turn around and invite someone like Helen Joyce to talk about trans ideology. She's a famous TERF, trans exclusionary radical feminist. If they wanted to invite her to the campus to speak, We all know what would happen. Okay.
Of course.
Come on. Don't give us this BS about how this is about intellectual freedom.
Yes.
As soon as you invite someone that you don't like, it's about safe spaces and shut it down. So yeah, it's just, that's why everyone's losing their minds over this, because this is the MPC right here. Like they can't even distinguish reality from fiction. Like they're so caught up in their own dream world about how this is about freedom.
It's just, well, actually, it might be even worse than that. I think this is just literally lying, dishonest gaslighting this. Like,
I think they're NPCs. I really do. I think they every time you ask them, they would say, look, but Helen Joyce is different. You don't understand. She's spreading misinformation about transgenderism, and the APA and the APA and all these other institutions. Never mind Europe, they're not on our side, but all these money-making institutions in America all support us, and we can't spread misinformation on the campus. Like they have an answer for all of this stuff. It's impenetrable. I mean, it is basically just a hermetically sealed bubble that they live in, but they do have answers for this stuff. So I think they are true believers.
Maybe.
I don't think she's going, look, I really need to lie about the conservatives. She believes this stuff. Nobody wants to go to bed at night and think, look, I just did an amazing piece on MSNBC where I lied through my teeth for 25 minutes. Nobody wants to do that, Sitch. You know that.
Yeah, that's true.
Look at her. She believes. She's horrified by this.
It's just so funny because it's like, first of all, it's funny. This person, Mara Gay, who I don't believe is related to Claudine Gay.
Oh, no way. They're multiplying.
No, I don't think
it's her cousin.
I don't think they're related. But, you know, first of all, she works for the New York Times. And obviously we were talking about this on Tuesday. The New York Times famously fired their op-ed, the editor of the op-eds because they allowed Tom Cotton, you know, sitting congressman to write an op-ed.
Right.
Okay, so for her talking about like any sort of freedom here is just preposterous. But it's like, it's just so rich and it's so disgusting because it's like, oh, you have a bunch of like, you know, woke leftist socialists who take over an institution or they take over whatever. And then when you start pushing back, they're like, well, you're attacking our freedom. You're attacking academic freedom. You're attacking free speech. And it's like, well, you literally taken over something and subjugated it to your whim and not allowed any alternative ideologies to exist. And then when we push back on it, you go, oh, how dare you attack me and my freedoms? It's like, get out of here. This is so disgustingly dishonest.
It is. It's systemically dishonest.
Yes. It's just insane. It's totally insane. And I just looked it up. It's funny. She was, she said, she thought that people who didn't get vaccinated during COVID should get fired.
Oh, really?
And she tweeted out.
Diversity of thought.
Yeah, exactly. And she tweeted out. Oh, she actually wrote this article for the New York Times. She said, these workers have every right not to get vaccinated, but they don't have the right to keep their jobs in which they needlessly endanger those around them. Personal decisions carry consequences.
Right. Yeah. Unless you're stealing somebody's work, right? Then
yeah, there you go. Yeah, then it's fine.
Then it's zero consequences.
Right.
It's an attack on people who are pluralists and believe that you should bring people from all over the world together of diverse backgrounds and that you actually have more scholarly rigor.
Wasn't that what was going on when we came over from on the Mayflower? Weren't we just increasing diversity over here in good old America, future America? I feel like we were. Look, we were economic migrants, some political refugees, some religious refugees, just coming all from all over Europe to increase the diversity over here.
Yes.
All it was Native Americans. Imagine that, like a monoculture.
That's true. Why are they so against diversity?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Look, it's a melting pot.
Well, just again, it's just so obviously dishonest because it's like, you know, when they talk about diversity, they just, you know, they don't mean diversity of thought. They just mean diversity of, I guess, skin color. Like that's the big thing that anyone cares about. Like
they mean diversity of POC. Come on.
Yeah.
White people aren't part of that diversity. Sitch.
This is interesting. She didn't have any tweets October 7th to October 10th.
Because they all got deleted.
That's interesting. I always like to check.
They all got deleted. She's like, look, I'm going on an MSNBC tomorrow. I went a little crazy on October 7th.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I don't know. Maybe it was just Twitter because I saw one from the 9th, but I'm always just curious when someone does this to see what were they tweeting out on October 7th.
That's Sitch's favorite thing to do
because it's very enlightening to see what someone was tweeting out on that day.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only thing that she really tweeted out, which is kind of interesting, is on October 9th, she tweeted out quote, is this an article she wrote? No, this is from the editorial board of the New York Times. All sides involved in the conflict are bound by international law, and it's important to note that violations by one side does not permit violations by another.
Wow. Hamas apologist.
All she's saying is, all she tweeted out, I guess in relation to the October 7th attack was like, listen, Israel, don't go crazy.
Right.
Like, okay.
Look, I agree with
I agree with that, but that's the only thing you tweet out. That's kind of interesting to me.
I do. I think obviously two wrongs don't make a right. That's pretty obvious. So, looky, you can go. I think Cenk Uygur retweeted me on October 7th, so I had good things to say. I tweeted about the show he came on October 7th.
Oh, okay.
and value can be brought by having people from different backgrounds. This is an attack on diversity. This is an attack on...
Yeah, we want to get some plagiarists in there and some non-plagiarists. We want to get some people who steal from other people and some people who don't steal. That's the kind of diversity we want at Harvard.
You're right. Listen, oh my God, you know what? I take it all back. I said she didn't want a diversity of belief system. She wants a bunch of plagiarists. Obviously, you need plagiarists in there, right? You need thieves.
It's so tone deaf. It's like,
the first woman that they were going after was a white lady. But now, the only reason Claudine Gay, not the only reason, okay, but a big chunk of the reason, I would guess.
It is the only reason. What are you talking about? No, none of this happened after the white lady got fired. None of this.
But to be fair, okay, the white lady, the reason I think she got the president of the University of Pennsylvania, part of the reason that she got fired almost immediately is because there was a big donor who was about to donate $100 million.
Right.
And he said he wasn't going to unless they got rid of her.
Did he use the word scalp, though? That's what we really need to know.
He did. He said, I want that cracker scalp.
Oh, my God. Sitch, why? You always take it too far.
I'm white. I can say whatever I want. Okay.
Okay.
So he did. No, so that obviously had an influence. So, but I do think it's safe bet to say, and this is why this is such a preposterous claim, is that they keep saying, oh, they only got rid of Claudine Gay because she was black. But it's literally the opposite. That the fact that she was black and a woman was protecting her. That was literally a shield that they were using, that she was using to protect her job. And it was only after just weeks and weeks and weeks of continually new plagiarism allegations coming out that finally they're like, well, I guess this is even too much for your black woman shield to protect.
Yeah, look, how much plagiarism did the Penn State white lady
0.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't look at her academic career. I wonder if she had more than 11 papers, but
yeah, that's a good question, yeah.
Yeah, it's the shield, the people of color shield held very strong. Held very strong. I mean, I would argue it's still holding to some extent because she didn't have to leave the college. They're still going to pay her an obscene salary.
Yes,
I think
almost
she's
$1 million.
Yeah, $900,000 a year, Sitch. I don't know when you have ever made $900,000 a year.
No.
That's some money. That's some serious money.
I've never plagiarized
for a teacher.
I've never plagiarized to become the president of Harvard, so I guess I got to get on that to get that big 900,000 paycheck.
Right. Not look, the irony here is so deep because not only Not only is she making $900,000 just to be a university professor, all of the students that she's teaching, because she's one of these like black studies teachers, are going to go on to work at Starbucks. It's like, it is so evil.
Yeah, I agree.
It is like actually, some of the kids are probably just taking them as electives, right?
Some of the kids will end up working for the DEI group at Starbucks. Where they harass other people that work at Starbucks.
Those people that are majoring in these grievance studies. Yeah,
right.
There's no hope for them. But there could be. Look, let's be fair here. There could be some doctors, some attorneys that are just taking these classes just as like an elective. They're not married to this stuff. Yeah. Anyway.
Multiculturalism, and on many of the values that a lot of us hold dear, and in fact, anybody really who is around my age in their 30s who went to any major public university or private university in this country, these are values that are very important. And I think that's why these presidents are under attack. That's why Claudine Gay was under attack. The fact that she's a black woman and the first person who is a black American to lead Harvard only added to their thirst to dethrone her. And,
I can read minds, okay? They're all racist. It doesn't matter that the first woman that got fired was white. They really went after her because she's black. It's the racism. I can see it. I can see it everywhere. Can't you see it so crystal clear to me?
Yeah. Sad.
She's got like the chart with all the strings behind her and in her room.
It's so sad to me because look, if I was black, I would not be defending this lady. I would say this lady is part of the problem.
Yes.
This is why people think blacks are diversity hires and affirmative action hires. This is going to make my life harder.
True.
Yeah.
True. Coleman Hughes had a really good tweet about this.
Why isn't he the president of Harvard? Like, look, that guy is smart as can be.
Well, he's a little young, but why isn't he being interviewed by MSNBC instead of this idiot?
Well, because he doesn't buy into the everything is racist. Yeah. And Coleman Hughes would come out and say, look, she made us look bad.
So Coleman Hughes tweeted out, he said, Claudine Gay has no one to blame but herself. She chose the easy path of plagiarism almost 50 times over the hard path of writing original prose. It's a pattern of serious fraud, plain and simple. This moment is a useful litmus test. Anyone who's blaming Gay's resignation on other factors, e.g. right-wingers or racism, is nuts and can safely be ignored for the rest of time.
Amazing.
Great.
Amazing. Yeah, this is kind of a battle in the black community between the Coleman Hugheses and the Claudine Gays. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It really is. The thing is, like you said, Coleman Hughes is not going to get a platform. Glenn Lowry is not
on MSNBC. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, he's not going to get a platform that's going to reach the people inside the church. They're like, no atheists inside the progressive church here. We only speak the ideology in here. Yes, the DEI ideology. Well, I think Coleman Hughes' book is actually Coleman Hughes has written a book making a case for colorblindness that's going to come out soon.
That's good.
Which I'm sure he'll be interviewed on MSNBC to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, right.
It's all political.
On the side of racism, we have Representative Jamal Bowman, the guy who pulled the fire alarm.
Oh, yeah, the fire alarm guy.
Yes.
I can't believe people still think that he was that it wasn't like a deliberate stall the vote tactic.
They're really? Okay. Well, I guess I never saw the follow-up coverage where it was 100% confirmed that's what he was doing.
And did you see the video?
Yes.
He basically is like, ooh, do.
Wait, doesn't he he removes the sign or something that says not to do it? Like, it's very clear. Like what's going on?
It's like, look, I'm just fixing my hair. Oops. I'm surprised you didn't do the lean into it. Oh, ouch.
Oh yeah, he should. You see, that's the thing. He should have taken his phone out and just been checking his phone. And he leans. Oh shit!
Exactly.
Test it. But no, he says this isn't about plagiarism or anti-Semitism. This is about racism and intimidation. This makes no one safer. The only winners are fascists who bullied a brilliant and historic black woman into resignation. 2024 will be a battle for truth, democracy, and our shared humanity.
Wow.
Disgusting.
Was he crying when he said it?
I think he was actually. There was a little bit of a typo on the tweet because his tears like hit his phone and they, made it glitch a little bit.
Yep. Poor Jamal.
You have to say that they're racist because you can hear and see the racism in the attacks when people like Vivek Ramaswamy say, okay, this is a problem about diversity in hiring. I mean, this is racism as well. So there's a lot of different layers here, but I don't want to miss the attacks on academic freedom. And I think it's much easier to target women or women of color, but ultimately, it's not going to stop there. And I really hope that we can stand up for academic freedom, no matter who the target is of these campaigns.
So this is interesting. I want you to listen closely to what Mika and the other commentators are about to respond. Okay, they say something very briefly, but what they say is very interesting to me. So pay attention here.
Well, I respect and validate everything you're saying. At the same time, those were pretty simple questions that they were being asked at the hearing, okay? That's number one. And then in the case of Claudine Gay, the plagiarism aspect of this was an added problem. So a lot of things going on, very complex, and a conversation we should continue to have. Willie?
Yeah, and for a lot of people also is about the protection of Jewish students on campus too, so including everybody in that diversity.
Wow.
Okay, so in the segment they changed, I cut because they changed to a completely different story. So this is what this is so part of why this is despicable to me. So they have this New York Times writer come on, Mara Gay come on, she does her whole spiel. And it seems very clear that Mika and I forget the other guy's name who are on the show, who are the hosts of the show along with Joe Scarborough, are you just kind of said a bunch of bullshit. Okay? Because listen, it's completely ridiculous that she couldn't answer those questions. And these are serious allegations of plagiarism. So it's clear to me that they know that this is entirely BS. And yet, and while I'm glad that they spoke their little tiny piece at the end, to me, it's cowardly that they're hold on. We're not going to let you just sit on our platform and say all this nonsense without giving equal time to us pushing back and saying and questioning you and challenging you and saying what the hell? This is what you're saying is not accurate.
This is the bigotry of low expectations, I'm telling you.
Well, they're scared.
They didn't push back at all because she's a black lady.
They're cowed.
It's totally obvious. Look, even there's a point there where you see Mika is ready to step in.
Yes.
And she's afraid to interrupt her.
Yeah. She's because it's just, to me, it really feels like that, they were cowed at MSNBC. They got word from high that this is the narrative, I guess, we're following today. Or maybe they didn't, maybe it's not direct. It's just they know they can read the temperature of the room and their colleagues. And I think you're right that there is this element to it, well, you're going to have two white people tell a black lady that she's wrong about, racism in America.
This is the culture. This is the culture that we've created here. Obviously, look, is this a meritocracy?
No,
this is an aristocracy. Is exactly what it is. There's different rules that apply to. Yeah, there's different rules that apply to different people. Douglas Murray, who we covered recently, says there are some people that are uninterruptible. You can't interrupt them. It's it's a social faux pas to speak while they are speaking. Yep. Those people are fucking kings and queens. What are you talking about? You can't interrupt them. Yep. What are you talking about? When those people are spitting out bullshit, it's your duty to interrupt them.
Yeah, if you're on the national news, okay, and you know that your audience, the MSNBC audience, is going to eat up this narrative, okay?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people that watch MSNBC, they're just going to get a completely one-sided view of this, and a bunch of left-wing normies are going to walk away with this thinking, oh, Claudine Gay was accused of some BS plagiarism, and then the people cowed at Harvard cowed to a bunch of evil racist conservatives, and they got rid of
Right.
her. And that's
Yeah.
their worldview. And that's part of the reason why this is such a pernicious and disgusting thing is because this like creates in the minds of American public like, oh, we live in this hyper racist country where there's evil right-wing racists running around just trying to tear strong black women out of, high leadership positions, even in our elite institutions as Harvard.
Yeah.
And it's just a
It's
complete
bullshit.
lie. It's a complete
Yeah.
lie. Yeah.
These people they're treated with kid gloves. They're wrapped in bubble wrap. Are you kidding me? That's why they can't take any pushback at all, because it would just destroy them. Nobody's ever given them any pushback.
Yeah.
The term anti-fragile is important here because that's you need to face adversity to get stronger, to become better in the world. And we are handicapping these people by not doing that, by letting them go on their on their tirades of nonsense without giving them any pushback.
Yeah.
Look, they didn't even give her a chance to respond. They're like, look, this can't even be like a back and forth because this lady is so eager to pull the racism trigger. We can't even have a back and forth with this lady, right? They're like, we'll just say our part and you can leave the studio.
Right.
How are they not the racists, Sitch?
It's pretty bad.
How is that? How are they not the racists? That's the thing. It's like, this is tokenism 101. Let's bring in the black lady to talk about the racism toward the black issue towards Claudine Gay. We know that these are serious accusations that should be talked about and considered. How do we want to structure society? Is plagiarism a big deal? Is it not a big deal? Is it, academic malfeasance? Is it bullshit? Is it jaywalking? But of course we can't have that conversation with a black woman. She might accuse us of racism. We need to have that conversation among the white people.
Yes.
But let her come in as the token black person and speak her monologue or whatever, and we won't interact with her. We'll just, shuffle her off to the side once we're done.
Right.
How is that not classic tokenism?
Yeah.
This is such bullshit.
And it's just also like pathetically weak programming too. Like they can't actually have like a disagreement on air and talk about it. Like that'd be so much more interesting than whatever garbage story they're going to move to next.
We've been giving Robbie and Brianna Joy Gray a hard time for like weeks now.
Yeah, but at least it's entertaining to watch.
And look,
Great content.
Greyjoy is never calling Robbie a racist. Like they've had contentious conversations, like the one about slavery. Right. Super contentious.
Yes.
I did not walk away thinking, oh, Brianna thinks Robbie's a racist. I never even crossed my mind.
Crossed my mind.
It did?
Yeah. She didn't say it, which I give her credit for, but it crossed my mind.
Obviously we can't read her mind. It'd be interesting to ask her.
That's why I didn't say anything about it when we were streaming.
I don't know if we'd get an honest question. Do you really think she thinks Robbie's a racist? Interesting.
Yeah, not like he's like I want to put on a hood.
It's a systemic racism.
Yes.
Okay.
That kind of racism.
Okay.
So
well, look, at least they could have the conversation. This woman, I don't think of Brianna as a token at all. Like she's ready to get in the thick of it.
Right.
She's obviously very smart. I mean, I disagree with her on
a lot.
So much. Yeah, exactly. But I respect her willingness to get out there and fight. I saw another clip recently where Robbie, it was funny because she was doing this thing where when my side does it, it's academic freedom. When your side does it, it's obvious there's nefarious motives going on. And Robbie completely called her out on it. And she just was she just moved on. Like, I think he might have got to her a little bit.
That's funny.
We should watch it. We'll watch it next Tuesday.
So, I just want to say, so the last clip, there's a couple more clips, but the last clip in my compilation I have is interesting. So stick around for that because it actually has someone pushing back on this narrative. Like they're doing it in like a tepid, like very careful way because they're really afraid of like stepping in it. But they're the only one I saw that was really trying to give any sort of pushback on MSNBC on this. So.
Yeah. I mean, it is tough. I don't know. Look, it's easy for me to sit here on our live stream and tell them how it's done. I mean, I don't want to be on MSNBC and be accused of being a racist. Like, well, I have no illusions about how these people will chew you up and spit you out. There's nothing fair about it. Like, I've seen a lot of people face the cancel culture buzzsaw and it not come out pretty on the other side.
Yeah, but like the thing is, it's a little bit, even though I think it's wrong, it's a little bit more like there's guests on these shows, and a lot of times these guests are paid. They're continual contributors to the shows. And so they might not want to speak out against the host because they're like, oh, you know, all these hosts are like massively egotistical. And, you know, unlike us, they're not necessarily looking for a fight. And so, you know, they'll not be invited on the show again if they disagree with the host or something, right?
Yeah, no.
And so, like, that's definitely an issue. But what is an issue is, like, on Joe Scarborough, which we just watched, you know, Mika and the other guy, like, those guys, they're the hosts.
They do have the power, yeah.
Right. They have the power to just say, like, we completely disagree with you. And, you know, who cares if Mara Gay doesn't show up on their show again? That's not going to be some big, you know, she's not some big boon to them. And they're not going to get fired by MSNBC. Joe Scarborough's, you know, one of the big names on the show. I mean, on the channel. So they definitely have the capacity to call out the BS, and they really should have.
Didn't Lawrence Summer get fired, the president of Harvard, because he said there was biological sex differences between men and women? That makes me think. I don't know how safe Mika or Joe Scarborough or any of them are. I mean, who knows which way the wind is going to blow with social media? I think that's part of the calculation. I think that's why they're so tepid about it. They're like, oh, look, the president of Harvard just makes an offhanded comment in a meeting, and next thing you know, he's axed. That could be me.
Right.
You would think he would be invincible.
Lost, but I think, actually, I kind of disagree with you. It makes more sense to me that a president of a college saying something contentious to some people would get fired versus like some giant host of one of the big names on, you know, a news channel.
Right.
Because people aren't going to Harvard because of the president.
While Summers had led Harvard, he blamed issues of intrinsic aptitude for the lack of female representation in the sciences, drawing fierce criticism and eventually a faculty vote of no confidence.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was in 2006, by the way. That was a long time ago. That wasn't even like in the woke years yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you can see the indoctrination was deep in these Ivy League universities for a while now.
Yeah, look at that. That's one of the first instances. It's like, wait. We can't talk about biological sex differences anymore?
Nope.
I mean, Joseph Henrich, one of the premier...
Shut up, racist, bigot, sexist.
He is a instructor at Harvard. He's literally, I think he's like the head of the sociology department at Harvard. How crazy is that? He can literally teach about biological sex differences, but the president of Harvard is not allowed to talk about them. That's insane. It's fucking clown world out here.
Yes.
First black president resigned.
We need intellectual diversity.
A lot of people also is about the protection of Jewish students on campus too, so including everybody in that diversity.
As Harvard's first black president resigns her post, Republicans scramble to take credit. The far right's misleading war on higher education next on All In.
It's not just the right, it's the far right. Ooh, very spooky.
This afternoon, Harvard's first black president, a woman named Claudine Gay, resigned her position. The move comes after conservatives and Republicans have been telegraphing their goal to have her fired for weeks. Everything from a bad faith hearing on campus anti-Semitism to unfounded plagiarism charges were thrown at her.
What? What? Oh, they're just bold-faced lying.
A bad faith here. What was bad faith about the hearing?
Well, how were these plagiarism charges unfounded?
I know everything you just said was BS. He did without
Complete
evidence.
Lies.
Right. He doesn't explain why he thinks the plagiarism. He doesn't say like, "Let me go over the 50 charges of plagiarism and show you why I think it's BS." Right. He doesn't do that. Okay.
Right.
So he's just telling you a summary of what he wants your opinion to be. There's no deep dive here. There's no explanation of the information here. And then and then to say it's unfounded. How is it unfounded? How is it how is it bad faith to say, okay, well, listen, we have all these people on college campuses like saying some crazy stuff. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Yes. Oof.
Christopher Rufo, a right-wing filmmaker who organizes culture war fights, posted in celebration at the news of Claudine Gay's resignation.
Look, Christopher Rufo has got to be loving this. They're completely blowing up his profile.
He's doing it
incredibly. Of course he is. Yeah, look, he's like, look at all this bait. Put my name on every single program on left-wing. Look, I'm going to be Secretary of State soon.
Yes. He baits them so hard and they fall for it every time.
They do. They're such morons.
Though there is a tremendous irony in cheering a university president's ouster while misspelling the first word in your own tweet. Now, here's the thing. If Harvard decided that it no longer wanted Claudine Gay as its president, that's the university's business. It can change presidents as it pleases. But they never found her to have committed plagiarism. And as recently as Christmas, the Harvard Foundation gave Gay their support. It is disappointing that Harvard has bowed to right-wing pressure. Conservatives are upset.
So first of all, it's funny when he says they never found her guilty of plagiarism. It was such BS. They're like, well, we found that she did do duplicative repeating of language.
Right.
Is
that what he's saying? He's like, because they didn't call it plagiarism?
Yes.
Like it doesn't count?
Yes.
This is so dishonest.
And then Harvard was just so dishonest too, because they're like, oh, well, like we didn't find any evidence that this, duplicative language was for, reckless or malicious purposes. I'm like, really? How do they know? How would you know how would you know that?
Right. Yeah.
And then he also leaves out the fact that the part of the reason this happened is because they looked at like a handful of claims of plagiarism and they came to that conclusion. And then they just kept piling more and more. They just kept finding more and more accusations of plagiarism.
Yeah. Look,
and they didn't have any ruling on that.
Once you're getting into like the half dozens, the dozens, I mean, that's reckless, right?
Yes.
You're just reckless abandon. You're like, look, I can copy anything. No one ever checks. You're
the president of like the world famous college. You should have 0 instances of plagiarism. Okay. Is it really that difficult to have that? To get a president of your school that has no plagiarism for being like literally one of the most famous universities in the entire world?
Yeah. Wow. It's been a long time since I played the rewording game. When you have to write a paper and you're like, oh, I got to reword all this stuff here.
God, I know. It was rough. I remember like in middle school, you'd like listen, I'm really old. Okay. They'd have the encyclopedia.
Mm-hmm.
Or since I'm only sort of old, I'd have the encyclopedia on a CD-ROM.
Oh, yeah.
You put in like copy. Microsoft Encarta, like 1998 or whatever. And after you played Mind Maze, you'd go to like the thing and you'd like try to copy paste the section from whatever. And you're like, let me change some words around here to make it sound like this was written by like a 12-year-old and not like a professional writer.
Oh, man. Yeah. If I had the tools at my disposal that people do now, oh, man. Been the academic superstar.
Well, now it's so weird because like you just get to like now, like my perception of reality is so different, and even it was even like starting to get really different in college because like if like at this age I would have looked back at like those papers I had to write that were like, oh my God, you have to write a whole page, and now I'm like, are you kidding me? That's like a joke. Like I could write a page in my sleep, in like 10 minutes.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And yet back then, you're like, oh my God, an entire page is like impossible.
I had to write like 20-page papers on like some painting.
When what grade?
For art history, yeah.
But that was in college, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
imagine bullshitting for 20 pages about some fucking painting.
Right.
Like, oh my God. Why am I doing this? How is this enriching the human knowledge?
With elite colleges, they're like writers from bad 80s teen films who think that the only colleges in America are Harvard, Yale, MIT, and a few Ivies. Look, I went to the University of Virginia. I teach at Morgan State University. America is filled with brilliant, qualified people out of Michigan State and University of Akron and Spelman and Emory and UC Santa Barbara.
So get one of them to run Harvard. I'm sure you could find someone who hasn't plagiarized a million things. I'm sure you could find someone there, buddy. Right?
Yeah, see, this is a problem because if she is there and done all this plagiarism, it makes it the appearance, the optics of it are no, you can't find anyone. That's what the optics are. Right. It makes it seem like this is bullshit. Oh yeah, there's all these people out there. Well, maybe get one then. Get one or shut the fuck up.
If Republicans really cared about what's happening on America's campuses, they'd look into the schools where 95% of Americans actually go.
Oh my God. He did the Greyjoy defense.
I hate this, Sitch. the questioning of whether or not they care.
God, it's so stupid.
This is why Rufo is really based. I mean, he's really based. Because he's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to get your bitch fired. Yeah, of course I don't give a fuck. That's amazing, Sitch. Mm-hmm. That's so Sigma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. Think I care about this? It's politics. God, cry me a river. Stop plagiarizing. You done got caught with your pants down. Look like an idiot.
But their goal was never about anti-Semitism or even intellectual freedom. Republicans want America's elite institutions to remain run by conservatives and conservatives that they like, period. And they'll come up with any phony controversy to achieve that end. Carter G. Woodson, the second black man to graduate from Harvard in 1912, and the father of Black History Month, did not have the best time when he attended Harvard almost 100 years ago. To paraphrase, he said, quote, Harvard has ruined more Negro minds than bad liquor. Harvard has obviously improved since then, and it may not have ruined Claudine Gay's mind, but they have definitely damaged her career by doing the bidding of the American right. Hopefully, other colleges will stand more firm in the future.
You like that? Ooh, he has to compare Claudine Gay for getting ousted of being the president of the college, who is still going to be like president of faculty or whatever nonsense position he had before, still going to get, $900,000 a year. And he has to compare this to like some guy who went to Harvard in the 1800s who's like, oh my God, there was so much racism back there.
Yeah.
Like, get out.
1912.
Get out of here. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. I wonder if that guy was a plagiarist. That's the whole time. The whole time I'm thinking,
I don't think so. I mean, did you see his spiffy outfit? I doubt it. He's wearing a tuxedo to college. Like, that's pretty impressive.
I wonder how he would feel about plagiarism.
Yeah, he's like, listen, it's fine.
I doubt it. Are you kidding me? It's
he plagiarized Black History Month. Okay, you don't know that he stole that from someone else.
He's like, look, I went to Harvard. Why? That's the thing. It completely devalues every single person's degree.
It does. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. And how can they enforce plagiarism themselves? They just literally can't.
Yeah. Oof.
It's like, I don't know if you ever saw, there's a really great episode of the Boondocks where Huey and Riley's father, turns out, was on the bus with Rosa Parks. Mm-hmm. And he actually was told, and he was there with her, and he sat at the front of the bus with Rosa Parks. And actually, like, the racist white guy bus driver was like told Riley and Huey's father to get the back of the bus first, and he said no. And then they just ignored him. And then for no reason, when they told Rosa Parks everyone's super concentrated on her, and so his entire life he's felt jilted that he never got
That's
like
amazing.
the accolades that she did.
That's amazing.
Yes, it's so funny.
Do you know the Rosa Parks thing was all a scam? That it was.
It wasn't a scam, but it was a setup. I know that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a test case.
it was a test case. Yeah.
Right. Most people, they don't teach that in history. They don't teach, oh,
Right.
yeah, she worked for the NAACP. She was a secretary there that they sent down to.
Well, I don't. Was the bus company in on it too, or not? I don't remember that part.
Right. I don't remember either. I just know. I remember for the first time I heard, what? It's a setup.
Because I know that, I don't know if the bus company was, I know like the original segregation, the one that upheld segregation or separate but equal case about the train company. The train company was in on the test case because they didn't actually want to uphold the law because it would be more expensive for them to have
Of
separate
course.
cars.
Yeah. Same for the busing.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if it's the same with the bus.
Oh, because they had the front and back of the bus.
Because but I mean, I don't have a problem with test cases. Test cases are totally fine. That was the Scopes monkey trial was a test case too.
Yeah, look, I have a problem with dishonesty. And if they're teaching it,
there's some horrible law and you want to challenge it. So,
if they're teaching it in school and they're leaving a huge
they should
out.
Yes, that's true.
Like it's a perfect opportunity to teach about how test cases work, but they leave it out because they're like, look at all the racism, and like they're focused on. Yeah, I mean they could focus on both. It's a complex story. They don't need to dumb it down.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Anyway, what's next?
Stefanik marked the resignation of Harvard President Claudine Gay in a tweet today. We'll talk to a Harvard professor about this political campaign against university leaders and why the conservatives leading the charge are promising to keep it going. That's next.
I'd like to make it.
I hate all these people, Sitch. I want you to know that.
Every time I do an MSNBC montage, your day is ruined.
I hate them with a passion. It's all they do is, how is this any different than racism? Like I don't see any difference. You're demonizing a class of people, and every class of people has just a wide spectrum of behaviors and beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's completely wrong. To demonize conservatives like this. I mean, there's some racist piece of shit conservatives. There's a lot of nice conservatives, right? Who want to do the right thing, who care about academic rigor. They care about people not stealing other people's work, okay? And to throw them under the bus because of this, it's oh God, it's so bothersome. And then not only that, they're standing under a giant banner of like, we're not the bigots, as they are the bigots. I hate it.
Explicit. The president and the White House, it's within their authority and power to immediately issue an executive order abolishing critical race theory trainings from the federal government.
That was the conservative activist Christopher Rufo in September of 2020, making an explicit request that former President Trump issue an executive order abolishing critical race theory training from the federal government. Rufo is likely the reason your conservative uncle knows the phrase critical race theory to begin with. He's the reason Fox News became obsessed with it, and the reason that Trump became obsessed with it as a buzz term for pretty much anything to do with race. We know, thanks to reporting from the Washington Post, that when Rufo made his request, Trump was watching. Within a month, Trump issued an executive order demanding that no federal money be used for critical race theory. Chris Rufo.
Based.
I know.
Based.
Look, all these people, it's so sad too, because all the people on MSNBC have no idea what critical race theory is.
I know.
We could invite any one of the audience on our stream, talk to them, and make them look like idiots. Because they have no idea what this stuff is.
I know.
Yeah. But they will talk down to us like we don't know what it is.
Listen, I don't know if you know this, Adam, but I read the Wikipedia entry for
Yeah,
critical
exactly.
race theory, and it told me, okay, that it's just teaching Black history. That's all.
Yes,
That's what it said
yeah.
on Wikipedia.
Sure.
Arc Tamoys, thank you so much for the 50 euros. Thank you.
That's
Says
it? That's $50, Sitch. Woo!
Woo! I forgot we're doing the drunk girl woos. Woo! I honestly don't understand what the big deal about the face reveal is when Sitch's face has already been revealed in One Punch Man. S-Class is mostly decent.
Oh,
Wow,
nice.
thank you. Well, I don't know if you noticed that is true. Adam was face revealed in One Punch Man as Blast, the number one
Oh,
ranked
yes.
hero.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I was face revealed as a fat middle-aged white man. So
Yeah.
that's my hesitation. That's why.
Cool. Thank you for the $50 too.
Thank you.
Rufo got what he asked for. After that, Rufo's anti-CRT campaign ginned up enough conservative pressure against Nicole Hannah Jones, the co-founder of the 1619 Project, that the University of North Carolina denied her tenure. Jones had a Pulitzer Prize, a MacArthur Genius Grant, and support from the school's chancellor and faculty. But conservative pressure worked. Rufo then set his sights.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not true, right?
That is not true. Yeah.
Yeah. Liar.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, the controversy over Nicole Hannah Jones.
Right.
It wasn't like, again, this is what they're going to do with Claudine Gay. Oh, it's all just evil right-wing conservatives. They did the same thing with Nicole Hannah Jones. I was like, well, no, that's not what happened. There were independent historians that came out and they said her thesis statement about the 1619 Project, which is that her thesis statement was that the American Revolution happened to protect the institution of slavery.
Right.
Okay. She's trying to say that the entire reason America exists as a country is to protect slavery. And a bunch of historians came out and they said, like, that's literally not true. You just made that up. That's not true at all. The British Empire was fine with us maintaining slavery. And in fact, during the Civil War, the British Empire heavily supported the South. So it's ridiculous. That's just a stupid argument. Okay.
Right.
But so this Cassis is like a right-wing thing is BS. But then I actually looked up the specifics about the tenure thing. Okay.
Did the British Empire support the South during the Civil War? What'd you say?
The British Empire supported the South during the Civil War.
Not the North.
Yes. It's
So they were in favor of slavery.
Well, they weren't doing actually. So okay. So while the British Empire was ideologically opposed to slavery, they were still supporting the South financially because they were getting
using their exports. They were getting
they were getting a lot of exports from the South.
Yeah.
So
they were importing a lot of cotton and stuff.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
So I found this article from the time period that this was going on. This is from NPR, right? So a very left-wing source. UNC Journalism School tried to give Nicole Hannah Jones tenure. A top donor objected. Okay.
Right.
And so they say, and it's funny, they go, she won the MacArthur Genius Grant and a Pulitzer Prize and blah, 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 blah. By the way, Pulitzer Prizes are like jokes. It's like 5 super woke people sit around and just say, oh, I guess you get a Pulitzer Prize. It's not
Kennedy won the Genius Award too.
Yeah.
Who? Come on.
Right.
We all know it's rigged.
Right. So the person who stopped her from getting tenure is a guy named Walter Hussman. And this is a guy, he had made a $25 million pledge. And I believe I don't know if he was on the board. I think he was on the board. And here's his reasoning. Okay. Here's his reasoning. He says, I'm worried that we're moving away from those time-tested principles of journalism that we had in the 20th century that were so effective at engendering tremendous trust in the media. Most mainstream newspapers sorry. Where's the rest of the thing?
You read the wrong thing?
No, that was it, but there was a longer quote.
Okay.
Oh, here he says, okay, here it is. He continues saying, we need something better than just fairness. We need the perception of fairness. Fairness is a good thing, but the best thing you can try to be is that you need to try to be impartial. Okay. And he goes on to talk about how journalism should be neutral and impartial, and how nowadays he feels like too much of journalism is rooted in partisanship. Okay.
Right.
And he feels like her reporting is rooted in partisanship. He says, for Hussman, reporters must avoid any form of bias, a practice given a shorthand name of impartiality or neutrality. For journalists to earn credibility, they must eschew any form of personal belief or partisanship, he argues. Okay? So that was his position. He thinks Nicole Hannah Jones is not really a journalist because she has a position already. She's not like a truth finder, okay, a truth seeker.
Right.
This is Hannah Nicole Jones' response to that. Hannah Nicole Jones says that the promise of objectivity is subterfuge. Most mainstream newspapers reflect power, she says. They don't actually reflect the experiences of large segments of these populations, and that's why these populations don't trust them. So when I hear that, I think he's speaking to a different audience.
Yeah, they buy into that. Everything is power. That even there is no objective truth. Science manufactures truth to maintain power for certain people, scientists particularly.
Yes, everything's subjective. There's no objective truth. Yeah.
That's bullshit, right?
Yeah, of course, obviously. So that response is like literally the pure encapsulation of CRT. Okay.
Of course.
She's saying there's no truth. Everything is power. Newspapers reflect power. I'm just trying to change where the power lens is focused as on my narrative as opposed to the evil white racist narrative. And then she says, these don't actually reflect the experiences of the large segments of these populations, and that's why they don't trust them. Okay. So she's like, listen, we need to have lived experiences of the people being talked about in newspapers. And if people who read it say, hey, that confirms my lived experience, then they'll trust the newspaper. That's the exact opposite of what you want the newspaper to do. You want the newspaper to tell you what is true, not to tell what people want to hear. So this guy was 100% correct in saying you're not an objective person, you shouldn't get tenure. And she basically agreed with that assessment, only saying I should get it because I'm not objective or neutral.
Right. Wow. That's interesting. But in the end, I believe they offered her tenure and she turned it down.
I think she did eventually because they got so much pressure from it.
So look, they folded.
Yeah.
They folded to her and said, "Okay, look, we'll give you tenure. Sorry, Uncle, don't attack us anymore." And then she said, "Bitch, I don't want your tenure."
Yep. Well, that's another thing too that Velshi here is very dishonest about because he leaves that key. First of all, he leaves out why the
that's
guy
the
was
whole
against
story.
And
that's
then he
the lead.
And then he leaves out the fact that she was actually they cowed to her and they gave her the tenure and she was like, "No, you didn't give it to me immediately, so get screwed."
Yeah, that's why
it's just
all
so
of this
dishonest.
Is lies.
Yeah.
Look, I mentioned this, I believe, on the Sunday stream about how if you say something that's popular, that's untrue, everyone will worship you like a god. But if you say something that's true and unpopular, oh, you're an idiot and fucking get out of my face. That's just a complete, the world's a messed up place.
Yep.
That's a messed up place, but she's coming right out and arguing for that. She's saying, no, Adam, you should ignore the truth and you should just say what's popular and people will believe it's true and who cares? That really offends my sensibilities.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't want to live in a world that's just a lie.
Oh, wait, this is even crazier. Wait, did she sue them over this?
No way.
Wait a minute.
It's even deeper.
Wait a minute. This is wild.
Hold on, partner. I see what you did there.
Nicole Hannah Jones and university settle hiring dispute. The University of North Carolina on Chapel Hill has reached a settlement with Nicole Hannah Jones, the Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, after a dispute over tenure. Quote, these steps taken to resolve the lingering potential legal action posed by Ms. Hannah Jones will hopefully help to close this chapter and give the university the space focusing on moving forward, David Bolek, chair of the University Board of Trustees, said in a statement. The settlement was for less than $75,000. Okay, so wait, how is this? This is insane. They literally offered her tenure, she turned it down, and she still threatened to sue them, and they paid her? What?
Yeah.
What is going on? What a fucking scam artist. What a piece of crap. What a horrible person she is. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. How does that even work? And oh my God, and what cowards. What pussies at North Carolina? I'd be like, we literally offered you tenure, you turn it down. You don't get to turn around and sue us that we didn't offer it to you the first time. Get out of here.
Look at this. Sitch is enraged now.
That's That's insane. This is the most insane thing I've ever heard. And Fauci, this stupid piece of shit that he is all like simping for her. And he leaves all this information out because he's a dishonest piece of crap. This is insane to me. Oh my God.
Sitch, which is worse, that or charging too much for a cookie?
This is so much worse. Cookie Mate has been forgiven for her cookies, okay?
Yeah, I know. Look, that's like extortion.
Oh my God. This is disturbing.
Yeah. That's uranium levels of dishonest fraud.
It's just wild to me.
Anyway. Enough of the look,
I'm enraged.
Walk it off, bro. Walk it off.
That's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. I read that and I'm like, wait a minute, this can't be real. I had to like look up like 3 articles to confirm this. This is the most bullshit thing I've ever heard.
Look, I heard this a long time ago and I was just as enraged as you. That's why I was like, wait a second here. What the hell is this guy talking about?
Oh my God.
This stuff is like a soap opera. He's like, yes, and she was never offered tenure because of Christopher Rufo. I'm like, Chris, what? How is he even in this story? This story's a long, sordid, twisted tale.
Jeez.
I heard Glenn Lowry and John McWhorter complaining about this.
I'm sure that we talked about this or heard about it at the time, and then I was just so angry I pushed it out of my brain because it was traumatic. I didn't want to like remember this.
It is the kind of thing you got to
watch. 2 years from now, this is going to come up again, and I'm going to read that same article, and I'm going to get enraged all over again.
Yeah.
Oh God.
On Florida. He helped Florida Governor Ron DeSantis craft legislation like the Stop Woke Act that restricted discussions of race and gender in schools, universities, and workplaces. Early last year, DeSantis appointed Rufo as one of the members of the Board of Trustees for Florida's public university, New College. There again, Rufo publicized his goal early and loudly. He tweeted, quote, "We will be..."
Notice they never say like what the person, he never explains like what the positions are in any of the situations. He just says Rufo right wing bad, this other thing left wing good. He never says like, well, New College was doing XYZ and that's why DeSantis was criticizing it and that's why they got rid of the board and replaced it with these other people and this is what they wanted to do.
Yeah, look, this is the church of MSNBC, okay? They can't make it very complicated. Just conservative bad. That's basically all they can do.
Mm-hmm.
Shutting down low-performing, ideologically captured academic departments and hiring new faculty.
Based! What's wrong with that? That sounds awesome.
The student body will be recomposed over time. Some current students will self-select out. Others will graduate. We'll recruit new students who are mission-aligned. At New College board meetings, Rufo made clear that he did not care if his goals failed to win hearts and minds.
One of the items that I discussed today with Governor DeSantis and with legislators present is that diversity, equity, and inclusion, which sounds great, but in practice divides people and offers separate judgments on the basis of race and identity. My opinion does matter, actually. Unfortunately for you.
His opinion does matter. Within a month of that comment, Rufo's board of trustees had abolished.
That was, yeah.
Rufo, he's just so Sigma, man. He's just out there. He's great.
It's pretty funny. Uh-oh, they're complaining that he abolished he keeps showing me stuff Rufo's doing. I'm like, this is all good stuff. I don't know what's the problem. It's all based.
Yeah, look, they're trying to... This is so weird because they're in such a bizarro world. They're like, let's show the most amazing clips of this guy and call him the villain.
The college's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office. They then did things like axe the school's gender studies program and recruit professors more in line with their conservative mission. Since Rufo's board took over, more than a third of the former faculty have resigned, and about 125 students have chosen not to return. Rufo's plan worked. And now today, we are seeing the impact of Rufo's latest crusade. A crusade against the first black woman to serve as president of the oldest institution of higher education in the country, Harvard president Claudine Gay. Last month, Rufo tweeted, quote, "We launched the Claudine Gay plagiarism story from the right. The next step is to smuggle it into the media apparatus of the left, legitimizing the narrative to center-left actors who have the power to topple her. Then squeeze."
Good.
This is just I hate this so badly because this is just tokenism 101. If you're putting a person into this position that's not qualified, and I would argue Claudine Gay is not qualified. Obviously, she doesn't have an extensive academic record like most of these people, and she's plagiarized up to her eyeballs with these plagiarism claims. So she's not up to snuff. They're obviously lowering the academic standards to put her in that place. That is textbook tokenism. That's bad. That's bad. The left used to care about stuff like that. It's insane that they're doing this. That they're like throwing academic rigor out the window and throwing their reputations out the window at the same time. I don't see how this doesn't rile people up. People want to believe that there are smart, intelligent people running these institutions, and it's not just a nepotistic giveaway. And a nepotistic giveaway based on skin color is just the worst thing imaginable.
End quote. In the past few weeks, allegations that Harvard's president had plagiarized academic work accomplished exactly what Rufo predicted. They went from Rufo's blog to the pages of conservative publications to mainstream publications like the New York Times. Now Harvard itself has investigated the allegations and found that they are, at worst, instances of inadequate citation, but they are not what the word plagiarism makes you think of. Gay was not stealing anyone's ideas, nor was she presenting other people's ideas as her own. Nevertheless,
why is that? Why is the woman that she plagiarized on a campaign against her then?
Because she's racist, Adam.
She's black. The lady she's
a black face of white supremacy.
Sitch.
She's a crab in a bucket, okay? She's bringing down other black, strong women.
This is such bullshit. This is such bullshit. The woman she stole the work from is saying, bitch, don't steal my work. This is not a victimless crime. There's a victim out there speaking up. Oh, God, it's so bad.
Like, I mean,
he's such a liar.
Is it so bad that she just kind of like sort of stole, you know, she like half stole a little bit, 50 times maybe in half of her works?
She didn't plagiarize my work, but at least have some respect for the woman she did plagiarize.
Yes.
Look, and all of her stuff is in this grievance culture, Afro-pessimism department.
Right.
So the woman she plagiarized from is probably in the grievance studies too, right?
And she, like Huey's father, she's mad that everyone ignores her.
Exactly. Exactly. You stole my Rosa Parks spotlight.
Exactly.
How dare you? I can't believe MSNBC just can lie like this. All this is just straight misinformation.
Right.
Nonetheless, today, Claudine Gay resigned anyway. The story of Claudine Gay's resignation is about a lot of things. Was it easier for conservatives to push her out because she's a woman? Was it easier because she's black?
No, it was easy because she was a plagiarist.
It's literally the opposite. It's literally the opposite. That
you're
shielded
right.
her for weeks.
You're right. You're right. Oh, God, they're delusional. They're completely delusional. Yes.
Black? Probably all of the above. But this is also a story of bad actors like Chris Rufo trying to bend academia toward their own ideological missions. We're going to talk to a current esteemed...
Because obviously, none of these like woke, DI obsessed, CRT obsessed leftists are trying to do anything like that, right? They're just all for academic freedom and teaching people what is objectively true, like Nicole Hannah Jones, who you just defended a few moments ago, who literally said there was no truth.
Yeah,
it's all just power games.
They're not about bending the institutions to their will against everyone else's better interests. Of course not.
Harvard professor about this and the other major bad faith argument used to chase President Gay out and what it means for discourse in this country. After this.
There is a reason that the testimony of the presidents of Harvard, Penn, and MIT made history as the most viewed testimony ever, with over 1 billion views. And that's because their testimony was morally bankrupt and pathetic.
That is 100% true.
That's crazy. That's a billion views is 1,000 million.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know that this was the most viewed congressional testimony. But see, I am
Can you imagine that video? I hope, look, C-SPAN, I hope you were monetized that day. Jeez. Oh,
I'm so glad that hearing happened, because it really shined a spotlight for a lot of people.
Oh,
it really hammered home how insane this like woke crap is from, on high in these Ivy League institutions. And you have literally people can't even say that like it violates the student code of conduct to advocate for like, killing Jews.
Yeah.
Like people are like, wait, what is happening in these colleges?
Yeah, killing a large portion of the student body.
Yeah. They're like, no, it's fine. Listen, as long as it's fine if they just threaten the group. If they threaten individuals, that's a problem. But threatening a group of people, that's fine. Everyone's like, this is insane. And her dumb, smug face when she was saying that, it's just, couldn't get over it. Couldn't get over it.
Yeah,
neither could America, apparently.
Yeah, especially when it's completely opposite of all these policies, which are like, don't threaten the group. Don't undermine the dignity of the group.
Yes.
Like calling for the genocide, that doesn't undermine the dignity of the group, does it, Sitch? I feel like it does a little bit, right?
No, it adds dignity because it's like a threat, right?
Ugh.
Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik was on Fox News today celebrating the resignation of Harvard's President Claudine Gay, the first black woman to lead the university with the shortest tenure in the institution's history.
This is your responsibility. This is your fault. You put this woman as the president of Harvard. Like the fact that they take no accountability for that just irks me so much.
I know.
Like, and it becomes like you said, it's a black shield. They're like, look, she doesn't need to have all this academic rigor. Who cares? She's got the black shield. She'll be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
Gay's resignation comes a month after Stefanik pressed the presidents of the University of Pennsylvania, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Harvard about anti-Semitism on their campuses in the wake of the October terrorist attack on Israel. Stefanik took issue with the leaders' lawyerly answers to the question, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate your school's rules on bullying and harassment? Stefanik called for all three university presidents to be ousted. When the University of Pennsylvania's president, Liz McGill, resigned under pressure from that school's board, Stefanik celebrated. She celebrated again today, quote, I will always deliver results. This is just the beginning of what will be the greatest scandal of any college or university in history. Joining me now is Imani Perry, Harvard University professor in studies of women, gender, and sexuality, and in African-American studies. Professor Perry, it's good to see you. Normally I get to...
What's the big deal about the celebration thing? Why do they cape? I guess it's because they're framing it as they're celebrating. They're racist and they're celebrating because they had a racist goal. And they're celebrating because they're like, look, we got a murderer here.
I'm glad you asked that because I think this is part of what's kind of interesting to me is that you'd say like, well, strategically, wouldn't it be smarter for people on the left to just agree that she was a plagiarist and then move on, right? That'd be like the smarter play here. But this shows how like none of these people are even motivated by intelligence. They're all motivated by intuition, emotion, and tribalism. And I think so much of their anger towards this is exactly what you just said. It's they're just so emotionally triggered that the right is celebrating a quote victory. Right. That's all it is. They go, oh, the right is saying that we beat the left. We got a victory here. We got a scalp here. So we're all super triggered and we all have to call them racist now. That's all. I think that's like 90% of all that's happening here.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's sad that these people, these people are literally just NPCs and they're just reacting according to their elephants with this nonsense.
Yeah. They're not, it doesn't come off as racism at all to me. It comes off as, when there's a serial killer on the loose out there, cribbing lines from everyone's books, attributing to them to themselves. And the cops finally, look, they got him. They got the wrongdoer. That's why people are celebrating.
Well, to be fair, there's a bigger element here, and this kind of goes into the very first video I ever made about dog whistles.
Right.
And it's true that Claudine Gay represents more than just plagiarism. She represents woke nonsense being pushed in colleges. And people are not saying that because, oh my God, she's a black woman. No, it's because literally that was her job before she was president of the school, was instituting all these like super woke DEI initiatives at Harvard University.
Right.
Okay? She's literally like Queen DEI woke. And so getting her fired or resigning or removing her from the top spot is seen as a win on the right to show not only A, do they have power to enact change in the world, but B, it shows that like, well, there's this person who's pushing this ideology that we think is very toxic and dangerous, which I happen to agree with, and that person is losing power, so it's a victory for us. And some people on the left are looking at it from the opposite, saying, we agree with this horrible ideology, and so therefore someone losing power is a loss for us. Right. And that's kind of like an underlying thing that's happening in these conversations.
Yeah, that's the entire subtext. I'm glad you pointed it out. Yeah.
Talk to you about fun things like literature and books. This feels to me to be very dark, what has happened here. It's a confluence of a whole bunch of nefarious interests that got together to oust Claudine Gay. Ostensibly, this was first about anti-Semitism on college campuses. Then it became about inflated allegations of plagiarism, in which Chris Rufo took great pride that he was going to oust Claudine Gay, and now she's out.
Yeah, it's horrifying. It's a really demoralizing moment. I think one of the things that has sort of been lost in much of the conversation is how challenging the position it was to be the leader of any university at this moment, right? So that we have all of these constituencies, we have the board, we have students, we have faculty, we have alums, and we have donors, all with varying investments in this moment of intense political conflict, a historic moment of, I think, in many ways, of devastating proportions. And so it was really difficult, I think, to be a leader and then to have this concerted effort that was really part of a kind of comprehensive decision to commit to keeping certain kinds of people out of these kind of institutional spaces, and also to keeping knowledge about them out of these institutional spaces for ideological purposes.
So I looked into this person's background.
Right.
And according to themselves in their own bio, they say that what they teach in their work is heavily influenced by the Frankfurt School of Critical Theory and CRT.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So it's just rich to me that someone who is literally, a dreaded cultural Marxist who says that is their number one influence, is talking about, these evil right wingers trying to capture the ideology away from college campus.
Right. When that's her professed game.
Yes.
Well, you don't have to play that game. Like the power game is not applicable in all aspects of life.
Yes.
Like you don't want to play power games in your marriage.
No, of course.
Like, I don't think playing power games in business is great. I mean, there's a lot of places where you want to be cooperative.
Well, it's funny too, because these people are always the ones that bring up the repressive tolerance thing when they are the repressive tolerance. They're the paradox of tolerance.
Yeah.
Because like none of these people believe, including this woman, I would wager, if her big influence is the Frankfurt School and CRT, none of these people believe in liberalism.
Truth. Yeah.
None of them believe in free speech or objective truth. And yet as soon as, someone that they support loses power, they go, oh, well, free speech, but free academic freedom. What happened to all these things I don't believe in? Woo.
Yeah. You can just dismiss everything they say.
It's altogether quite harrowing. I think, there's a concerted effort to oust some of us from being in places that are deemed prestigious and sources of knowledge, and that happens from K-12 all the way to universities. And Claudine Gay is the latest victim of those efforts.
I would argue most people don't know the names of too many university presidents. They come and go. They've existed for a long time. We don't necessarily know their politics. We certainly haven't read their theses or whatever it is. Claudine Gay came under remarkable scrutiny, and it wasn't accidental. It was a project, really. This project to oust university presidents, including Claudine Gay, was helmed by what I think are some very odd bedfellows. Chris Rufo of the Manhattan Institute, who's come out against DEI and CRT. Most people don't, he doesn't know what CRT is, or at least he knows, but he misrepresents it.
This guy's like such a liar. Ugh.
Oh my God. Because Velshi here, he's some CRT expert. He not only is he a CRT expert, but he knows that Chris Rufo is intentionally lying about CRT too.
Oh, it's just Black history, man. That's all it is.
Bill Ackman, a Harvard alum and rich guy, Jonathan Greenblatt from the Anti-Defamation League, Elise Stefanik, who has not articulated a particular apprehension about anti-Semites some of the time, and suddenly this was her charge. What happened here? How did this all come together to end up ousting Claudine Gay?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to fully understand, and I think it will take some time to actually sort of pull apart all of the elements. What's remarkable.
What that means is it'll take some time to construct a proper narrative, because saying it's racism is so transparently, stupidly wrong, because the first woman that got, in trouble for the hearing was a white lady, right? So they need time to construct. Like, this is so, she's like, oh, it's so complicated what happened. We really have to think about it. Really, it's really complicated that she gave piss poor dog crap answers at a hearing, which number one is like one of her main roles as a president is to be the face of the university. And then number two, when people looked into her, they found out she did a bunch of plagiarism. It's pretty straightforward. It's not very complicated.
This is simple as can be. Anyone can understand it. Yeah. They got to reconstruct a narrative, though, that turns this into something complicated and nefarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think is how transparent the interest was, though, in getting rid of her. And what's alarming is that it seems to be the case that these political forces can, dismantle the structure of higher education, and as well as K-12 education, and universities are supposed to be places where there are a range of ideas, where people can debate, where people can develop, where people can
copy paste,
be in conflict, where people can grow. And we seem to be finding ourselves in a kind of neo-McCarthyist moment, driven by a variety of political actors who have not necessarily all the same interests, but for the fact that they are resistant to the idea of sort of a multiracial democratic order with people of varying identities taking various positions. And so
whoa. Little Miss CRT here. Okay. If you really are so influenced by CRT, you should know that CRT is against a multiracial democracy.
Yeah.
I would think that's even remotely possible. And it's rich that you're complaining about neo-McCarthyism when, again, your literally main influence was literally Western Marxists. So,
yeah, that's all. Everything's upside down here.
Yep.
It's a dark day. It's a devastating day. I do hope that, though, that those of us who believe in the principles of democracy and deliberation and intellectual openness and free speech actually, true free speech can actually sort of push back against this.
Well, you and I have spent a lot of time talking about banned books because of that. We believe in free speech, but you are also a person who's written about some of these things that make people uncomfortable in this time, this challenging time. Chris Rufo, who, a lot of people may not know about him. Alex Wagner's done a lot of work on Chris Rufo and the threat that he poses. He tweeted recently, he said, "I am contributing an initial $10,000 to a plagiarism hunting fund. We will expose the rot in the Ivy League and restore truth rather than racialist ideology as the highest principle in academic life."
Do any of them know that Christopher Rufo's in a mixed marriage with a Asian lady? I mean, it's pretty ironic that his kids are Asian.
That's funny, but yeah, it's funny. This is like these segments are like whenever they talk about Rufo, it's the meme of like, oh my God, look at what this horrible person said, and then they show you like the most base thing ever.
Yeah, look, he's
Every time.
not even making it like he's like, look, I'm a racist hunter here. Like,
Yes,
let's out some of these other racists.
yes, this is amazing.
They don't see
I love
themselves as racist though, which is
I know.
the major irony here.
Yep, they've gaslit themselves into the fact that them being racist is somehow anti-racist.
Yeah, they're the good ones. They're the good people. Come on.
I would argue that you, in your writings, your books, your teaching, you are pursuing truth. You would like truth to be known that you think people haven't heard before.
Sitch, you hear this? You hear this?
Well, yeah, Velshi here, who says he knows all about CRT,
Absolutely doesn't know
CRT
jack shit about
doesn't care about truth by their own, statements.
Right, yeah. You care about truth, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But some would put people like you or Claudine Gay or anybody into a bucket of racialist ideology.
Sure. And, it's the very formulation is predicated on a fallacy that there is sort of a singular truth, right? Ideas and history.
It's just funny.
Look,
he just said it.
She said it right to his face.
And he's too stupid to get it. Oh my God. She's like, well, yeah, it's true. There's not a single truth, Velshi, you dumbass.
Yeah. Yeah. Look.
I love it's so
sometimes
wild.
It's water and sometimes it's agua.
These people, these fucking MSNBC people are so brain damaged. They're so NPC. It's just like when Joy Reid was like talking to Crenshaw. She's like, "Oh, CRT's not socialist, right?"
And then she's Crenshaw, like, gives her that smile. Well,
yeah, well, I'm not gonna answer that question.
Let me just talk for a good 5-10 minutes here. See,
yeah, maybe you'll forget the question when I'm done speaking.
She didn't forget. You could tell. It's like, oh, I'm not going to ask that question again.
Are constantly under debate. Interpretations are subject to debate. We look at varying pieces of evidence, we organize them in various ways, and we try to come to our sort of best account of what happened or what should be or how we describe the world.
It's a very weird sentence framing there. She doesn't say we try to figure out what is true, right? That's what you'd normally say. Listen, there's a lot of evidence, there's a lot of pieces of information. We have to sort through it all and try to figure out what was true, right? She doesn't say that. She says we have figured our best accounts, right?
Of course, yeah. I'm reminded of the molecular structure of water, the stuff that fills lakes and rivers.
You mean agua?
It's all just subjective. That's all totally. Look, it's a social construct. H2O.
Yeah, water is a social construct, Adam. I don't know if you know
that. Yeah,
I mean, you could just drink urine all day and you'd be fine.
This is
a social construct.
These are what the hallowed walls of our Ivy League institutions are producing. No wonder people are just fed up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Listen, when I do my face reveal, okay, I'm going to take like every book I own
and stack them up.
Just stack it up behind me and be like, look at all my books. Okay.
That is
stack.
That is that's trying a little too hard.
Usually people, they have like the shelves, right? It's like, oh, it's just a coincidence that I'm sitting in front of my bookshelves, right? Which you're like, okay, it's bullshit. They do that on purpose, right? Oh, look how smart I am. Look at all my books. But at least on a bookshelf, she's like, I don't have a bookshelf wherever this window is. So I'm just going to stack them all up like a tower, a Jenga tower of books behind me.
That's hilarious. I would love to move. This room I'm in is so small. I would love to move that bookshelf out from behind me. Do like just a big mural on that wall someday.
Yes.
Someday.
Yeah, that room, well, it's funny that like since I've been in that room, I've seen the other side. Like that room is deceptive in terms of how the audience sees it and what it really looks like.
It looks bigger than it really is, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, it does. There's like a closet over there no one knows about. There's a secret closet full of like things.
Oh, yeah. Things.
Adam has all these drawers hidden beneath the camera view, you know.
Oh yeah. I got my little whatever, the thing that I got batteries. I just never put them in.
To to reduce on the one hand any.
Sitch, what did this woman say on October 7th?
That's a good question. I never said.
I'm sure it's hilarious.
Discussion of race and racial inequality to racialist ideology, and on the other to propose a kind of singular truth that an individual a donned individual who can be the arbiter of truth. On the other is alarming and manipulative to a general public in ways that are clearly quite damaging. And this will have a chilling effect, without question, both on institutions that I think will shy away from embracing scholars who are pushing us to think critically about the world, and on scholars who do not want to put themselves under this kind of scrutiny and exposure.
Well, if they're plagiarists, they probably should avoid a lot of scrutiny. I would think. If I was a plagiarist, I'd think scrutiny is not going to be helpful for my cause. They just completely ignore the whole central point of this whole thing. So bizarre.
Dr. Perry, thank you for joining us tonight. We always appreciate your time. Imani Perry is a professor of studies in women, gender, and sexuality.
Women, gender, and sexuality.
Yep. So she didn't say she hasn't said anything about anything with regard to Israel, looks like, on Twitter. At least around that time period, so.
What is studying women, gender, and sexuality? Like, what is that? How does that increase the breadth and depth of human knowledge, Sitch?
Well,
she's a doctor. Obviously, she has a PhD.
She says in her Twitter bio, she says she, her, so she has her pronouns.
Right.
And then she says writer, intellectual, mother, professor at Harvard. There you go. She's an intellectual. Right. She put it in her Twitter bio.
Fascinating.
Isn't that like really gauche to say that you are intellectual?
I've seen people do it on YouTube, and I think, yeah, it is kind of gauche.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
I'm a public intellectual.
I'm an intellectual.
Yeah.
I have a big brain, okay?
I didn't hear her. Well, look, maybe she's super genius. I don't know. I find a lot of this critical theory stuff is really without substance.
Yes.
I feel like most of it is enabling black racists. People of color who are racist against whites, they thrive in this environment.
Mm-hmm.
It's like dog whistles galore. Even whiteness is like the biggest racist dog whistle ever created. Right?
It is. 100%. Yeah.
So as a society, I think it's good and necessary to put a taboo on racism by the majority population, especially if you're in a liberal democracy, because the majority is protected by the vote. Like the Bill of Rights is to protect the minority because they aren't protected by the vote. The vote protects the majority. So you gotta have kind of a strong taboo on letting those racist intuitions that can be a huge problem for society from running rampant. But for some reason, if we say, minorities, it's not a problem because, they're a minority. Let them be as racist as they want to be. Why do we do that, Sitch? Why do we do that?
Because power and privilege, Adam.
It's so unacceptable. I feel like as a society, we should just say, no, we got a blanket taboo on racism.
Right.
You want to be racist against whites? No.
That's the way it used to be, right? It used to be under the principles of liberalism. We have universal principles that were against these sorts of, everyone. You just don't be racist, right? That was very simple. Don't be racist. Don't be sexist. Very clean, right?
Right. But then the power plus privilege came out, and it was like, well, you can't be racist against oppressors, Sitch. It's your duty to fight against the oppressor. You should hate your oppressor.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is, calling all white people oppressors is racist.
Electro for $20 says S-Class is the best class. While A-Team likes to be part of VR. While A-Team likes to be part of VR Chat's naughty roleplay servers. Wow, is this true?
Of course not. Look,
what's your favorite roleplay?
Roleplay? What's that?
Oh, look at him. He just pretends he doesn't know what roleplay is.
I don't roleplay. What are you talking about?
Okay. Do you guys have any good recommendations for MMT books that I can listen to on Audible?
I'm always hesitant to recommend Stephanie Kelton's book because the last half of the book, she goes off on a bunch of policies that are very progressive that I think if obviously you're not a progressive or suspect of progressive policies, it can kind of sour you on the whole thing. But the first half of the book is great. Very explanatory. So the deficit myth, but you've been warned.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think we can do a talk with Stephanie Kelton. She follows me on Twitter now. So.
And Stephanie, I like you a lot. Can you tone down the vocals just a little bit?
Who? What? Me? Okay. About the book thing?
No, I'm saying like that'd be like you're talking to her. You're like,
look, all the MMT people need work with moral psychology. That's what they need.
Yes.
Yeah. They don't know how to have a conversation about it without completely triggering people.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we got a nice super chat there. Someone asking about MMT.
Well, thank you, Electro. There you go. PLO2PL for $5 says, all this talk about no objective truth is hilarious, given that on Harvard's logo in massive letters, it says Veritas, which means truth. It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
There's an excellent talk by Jonathan Haidt that I go back and listen to occasionally, where he makes an argument that the universities cannot serve two masters, and they must decide: are they going to serve truth, Veritas, or are they going to serve activism? Are they going to serve Karl Marx? The point is not to understand the world; the point is to change it. And those two ideologies are in conflict. He obviously advocates for truth. I advocate for truth as well.
Right.
And it's one of the reasons why Sitch and I try not to get too partisan, because I think obviously, man, partisanship you lose 20 IQ points as soon as you start like rallying around a team. Yeah, and you can see a lot of this with the Claude. Obviously we're witnessing people getting stupid before our eyes.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
So, but what was the question? Did I answer it?
You did.
Okay, good.
And in African and American Studies at Harvard.
Aaron McLaughlin has a closer look at what exactly happened and how the Harvard community is reacting.
Tonight, embattled Harvard President Claudine Gay stepping down, abruptly ending her turbulent 6-month tenure as the institution's first black president, the shortest term of any.
Why don't they call her the president, the Harvard's first serial plagiarist? I feel like that would make the story have more sting to it. Why don't they do that?
That's true. They should. You know what colleges should do? They really need to get rid of those stupid outfits.
I like the outfits. Come on.
Those stupid graduation outfits. They look so dumb.
It's it's tradition. It's screens.
Tradition, it's retarded tradition. It's so dumb looking. What is it supposed to be? Like, here, you're gonna put on your weird colored muumuu and you look like an idiot, like you're casting wizard spells or something when you graduate from wizarding college. Like, what is it?
Yeah, it's like bad Harry Potter.
Yes, at least like God, at least put on little Harry Potter hats or something.
Claudine Gay, Harvard's first serial plagiarist.
There you go.
Anyone in that position. In a letter to the Harvard community, Gay writing, "It has become clear that it is in the best interest of Harvard for me to resign, and that it has been distressing to have doubt cast on my commitments to confronting hate and to upholding scholarly rigor, two bedrock values that are fundamental to who I am, and frightening to be subjected to personal attacks and threats fueled by racial animus."
Anti-Semitic rhetoric, when it crosses into conduct that amounts to bullying.
Calls for Gay's resignation followed backlash to this response at last month's congressional hearing, when Republican Elise Stefanik pressed her about anti-Semitism on college campuses.
Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be, depending on the context.
It does not depend.
Why?
Oh my God.
Why? Why, Miss Gay? Why? Look at your face. Why is this your reaction? Why is this the facial response you're making? Why are you smugly smiling at someone asking you these questions about advocating for genocide?
Right.
Even
the Marxist lady had a better response. She's like, "Oh, there's all these different competing factions. It's a very complex time." Like, even that would have been a better response.
Well, when we're done watching these clips, I actually have a chart I'm going to bring up. I want to go over how badly Claudine Gay fucked up this hearing. Okay.
Right.
I don't think people appreciate it. But like, I think if she gave the same terrible answers that she gave and didn't put on this dumb shit-eating grin, I think that video, the billion viewed video, would only be 500 million views.
Right. She definitely has the nailed it look.
It's like, it's just so baffling to me. It's so baffling to me. Like her facial expression in this hearing, which is this huge smug face. I think that probably killed her more than anything, was just her expression. Because I don't know how many people listen to this stuff and track the arguments. They just look at the facial expressions people are making and judge from that alone.
Right. Yeah. That face just looks anti-Semitic. Like,
it's you know what's funny? It's like the Covington kid situation, right? They saw a kid making a smug smile, and they're like, everyone goes crazy.
Yeah. He's guilty of something.
Only this time it turned out that the hate mob was warranted.
Yeah, look, they uncovered the plagiarism.
Yes, look at that.
Old Nick Salmon didn't plagiarize.
No, he did not.
Context is yes.
Pressure grew in the following weeks, with Gay facing multiple allegations of plagiarism in her academic work. Harvard initially standing by Gay, but today the board accepting.
Harvard is always standing by Gay.
Of course.
Her resignation, saying she had acknowledged missteps, but also faced deeply personal and sustained attacks. Tonight, Stefanik claiming credit, saying this is just the beginning of what will be the greatest scandal of any college or university in history. Gay's resignation leaving the campus divided.
I'm glad that, it seems like we're moving in a direction where Harvard might begin to repair its public image.
I was flabbergasted. I was more than surprised. I was shocked. I don't think she was really given a chance from the start.
With me tonight, Jason Johnson, a politics and journalism professor at Morgan State University. He is also an MSNBC political contributor, and ESPN's Pablo Torre, host of the podcast Pablo Torre Finds Out from Meadowlark Media. He's also a Harvard University alumni. So I turn to you first. What is your reaction to her resignation and the allegations of plagiarism?
Yeah, I think the plagiarism stuff, it's real. It amounts to academic misconduct. I think we can parse whether this is a capital crime or closer to a misdemeanor. I lean towards nothing that would suggest that this alone would have been enough to force a resignation of a Harvard president. But I do believe that when you combine it with a performance on Capitol Hill that was disastrous stuff, like actually a failure of leadership from the perspective of how do you articulate a complicated subject that plagues every university and has forever, the trade-off between speech and safety. At that point, well, I think this gave the Harvard University Board of Overseers, the Harvard Corporation, a bit of a red herring to say, maybe the academic stuff is unsustainable, but in reality, what we're really worried about is the fact that we don't have faith in her ability to lead us through a wartime presidency, with the war being the culture war, for all of the reasons that are gross and disgusting and unfair to her as a black woman, the first, of course, in the history of this university.
Okay. This answer is hilarious to me in so many ways. Why is it that first of all, he did have to throw in like the woke pandering at the end. Right there. But so far, he's the only person that I've seen on MSNBC who said, well, she kind of deserved it.
Yeah, look, I was thinking it wasn't that bad. What are you critiquing?
No, but what I was gonna say, why this is funny to me is it's like, so the only person, even though they have to give themselves cover at the end, the only person that I've seen on MSNBC willing to say she deserved it because she did plagiarize, even though he said it was minor, but her performance was terrible in the hearings. They have to outsource someone from ESPN to do this. The sports guy.
Oh wow,
they have the ESPN sports guy come in and be like, yeah, like I'm just gonna give like a pretty like reasonable take here, and all the other journalists at MSNBC like give like the worst takes on the planet.
Are they doing this because he is the only credible voice that can say he's been discriminated against by Harvard in modern times?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, she said he graduated from Harvard, so maybe that's why they pulled him into this.
Of course.
You know?
He must have perfect SAT score.
Right. And so obviously the guy that they have on the guest, who was the guy who was hosting the other show we saw, obviously
he's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
Sad day for the university. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
400-year-old university to be in this. Jason, you work on a college campus every day. What do you make of all of this?
I think it's ridiculous. And I think that whoever at Harvard advised or suggested or demanded that Claudine Gay go to a bad faith committee hearing by Republicans should be fired before her. This
what was this? It's not supposed to show up. They're just supposed to just be like, oh, Harvard declined to show up to Congress to answer these questions about anti-Semitism.
Imagine you get a congressional subpoena. Like your whole job is basically sitting in your office all day. Nah, I ain't got time to go.
Oh my God.
I'm going to chill here. I got, some books to read.
That's why Jason here is not president of any university, if that's his advice. Okay.
This is like what your whole job revolves around.
Yes. Congress
subpoenas you, you go. You go and you prepare. You have the right things to say.
Yes. You don't show up and say possibly the worst answer of all time while putting on the smuggest face of all time. Okay.
I would love to know how much preparation went into this. My thinking is like 5 minutes.
Well, here's what's weird. I think there was actually some level of prep because a lot of like her and the UPenn lady, they gave almost the exact same answers. It's almost like they prepared to give those terrible answers together.
Yeah, but it's almost like they got those answers from legal, not from somebody with media training, not with someone who's like, I mean, this should have been thought of like a presidential speech, like a United States president speech. Like it should have been
maybe, but even then, it actually wasn't up to the legal standard because before they went to testify, the Biden administration put out a letter to these colleges, which I assume they saw like a month beforehand.
Yeah, saying we read that letter.
Saying it was actually a Title VII violation. To if someone feels unwelcome on a college campus because the group that they're part of is being threatened with violence, which directly contradicts what they said in that hearing.
Yeah.
Was all a sham. Anyone who knows these kinds of hearings put together by Republicans is a sham. So to blame somebody for going to a sham hearing and performing poorly when there was no way you could necessarily perform well is part of the problem. I think Harvard.
Okay, I'm going to show after this why this is obviously retarded. Like, even if you think the questions are in bad faith, it's literally your job as the president. It is your job. One of the main things that you're supposed to do as president is supposed to be the face of the university that answers and fields these questions. And yeah, in reality, all the questions you get, they're not always going to be from like the most good faith people.
Yeah.
Despite being an institution, obviously there's plenty of bright people there, no question about Harvard's integrity. But it is very clear that they've allowed themselves to be manipulated. And by firing or forcing or encouraging their president to step down, they have allowed themselves to be used in an idiotic culture war, and Harvard won't be the last place that's affected. And I have to say this, Stephanie, because it's really important. When I say bad faith, it's not just because the Republicans don't really care about anti-Semitism. Harvard is not an indicator as to how every university in this country works. If they really cared about the temperature of what was happening on campus, there's plenty of other places they can go. There's a University of Akron and Ohio and Vanderbilt and community colleges, but they didn't care about that. What they wanted was to get this black woman out at Harvard University.
This guy here is a bad faith manipulator, though.
Of course.
Because he's the one that's devaluing every single Harvard degree by saying, look, plagiarism's no big deal when a black woman does it. Jeez, look the other way. Yeah. Nothing to see here.
Yep.
Yeah. He's the one that's trying to manipulate everyone. He's like, this is racism. Manipulator. Stop it.
Fine, but put the hearing aside, right? The hearing was difficult to watch, but it seems as though it's almost like on the plagiarism thing, they've got her on a technicality, right? And it's not necessarily the Harvard board or the donors. It was the Crimson, the student paper, that actually put an op-ed out yesterday that I read. And the op-ed was by a student that's on the Honor Council that said, listen, when students are found responsible for multiple instances of inadequate citation, they're suspended for an entire academic year. And the student argued that the standard for students should be the same standard for professors, for the faculty. What is your take on the argument they're making that there has to be a standard for students? I mean, I've dealt with plagiarism with one of my children. And if you're going to choose a university or president who doesn't necessarily have a business background, who doesn't necessarily have a background, testifying before Congress, which is obviously really difficult, they have to have a flawless academic record.
Okay, so this woman's name...
Sanity.
I know. This woman's name is Stephanie Rule. I'm not familiar with her. But I'm so happy there's at least one person apparently at MSNBC that has a spine. Okay.
Yes,
that
totally.
says something that's reasonable. That says, listen, it was the student paper bringing this up. Don't you need to have, doesn't the president of Harvard need to be like squeaky clean? This is not, a very difficult thing.
Yeah. How do you feel about police officers who speed or make illegal U-turns in the middle of the street? Do you think that's okay?
Red lights.
Yeah. What is that okay? He'd be like, hell no, defund the police.
Exactly. So I am happy that finally we're getting someone at 11 o'clock at night, pushing back against this stuff.
Oh, this is the 11 o'clock hour?
This is the 11th hour show. Yes.
Oh my, hilarious. That's hilarious. In the middle of the night, they're like, okay, you can push back on the black guy a little bit. Okay. Everyone is in bed.
Terrible.
So let's see what the response is.
So, Stephanie, this is my reaction to that. First off, I need everybody to understand this because maybe not everybody in the audience understands. When most people hear plagiarism, they think you stole somebody else's ideas, right? But plagiarism within academic circles can also mean incorrectly citing things. That doesn't mean the same thing. An incorrect citation is just that. It could mean that you put Joe Jenkins wrote this instead of Joe Smith. It could be I put the parentheses here instead of parentheses there. I know I've written an entire dissertation. As far as I'm concerned.
So his defense is to lie because that was none of the accusations against her were that she misattributed the wrong person by mistake. That was not what she was accused of doing.
Yeah, I was going to say, interesting. So let's look at what she did.
Right, yeah.
Because she didn't do any of that shit. She just copied the entire paragraph. They showed the paragraph side by side. I
mean, listen, just because my client was accused of murder, sometimes people speed. Does that mean they should go to jail forever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's not what they were accused of doing.
Subterfuge. I think I or anybody else, and certainly not a bunch of bad faith Republicans and right-wingers like Chris Rufo, should be in a position of second-guessing how Harvard evaluated her up until that point. If they didn't think it was a big deal until the national right got involved, I don't see how it's a magically big deal now. I'm sorry. That, to me, as an academic who has seen people and caught people and failed people for plagiarism, that alone, to me, is not enough. And the rest of it, I think, is just bad faith nonsense.
We got a Dodger here. We got a draft Dodger here. Dodger doesn't want to answer the question. The student said, listen, there should be some academic standard for students and teachers alike.
Mm-hmm. You're right. He dodged it because he brought it back to the evil right wing. He didn't even.
Of course. Yeah, that's not the question. The right wing has nothing to do with this.
But, it's interesting, his logic there where he's like, well, if Harvard didn't have a problem with it, why is it anyone else's business, right? Does anyone think that if the president of Harvard was a white guy and, so let's say they said something racist 10 years ago, 20 years ago, right? Or
100 years ago.
A picture emerged of them in college wearing blackface at a party, right?
Yeah.
And the board knew about this and they decided that they weren't going to get rid of him, right? Would he be sitting here saying, well, the board looked into it and they said, it's totally fine? Or would he be saying, oh my God, this is proof that Harvard is filled with racists and the board is filled with racists because they made a decision I don't agree with?
Of course he would. That's exactly how it goes. It's like when I agree with it, it's fine.
Yeah.
When I disagree with it, it's the end of the world. This is what Robbie called Breonna Greyjoy out about.
How dare anyone question the elite board at Harvard?
It's hard to maintain consistent principles, Sitch, okay? Not everyone can do it. We're special. You and I are special people. Dodger, come on, answer the question. Look at this. And not only that, it was a student at Harvard. So even his, this is an inside Harvard affair, doesn't hold water, right?
Yeah,
someone at Harvard was like, listen, I'm a student and I can't get away with this shit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But Pablo, can two things be true? Can you have bad faith actors going after Harvard's president or MIT's president or Penn's president for their own nefarious reasons and at the same time have a plagiarism problem?
Yes, and I am deeply sympathetic towards somebody in Claudine Gay who is a serious academic. She's been held up as a token, as a DEI avatar in a way that's deeply offensive and insulting to her actual scholarship record. Mm-hmm. That does not mean that record also contains academic misconduct by the book. And so, look, do I think again that alone is enough to oust her as president? But no, I don't think that. I do think, though, that the original sin here is her performance in front of Congress. And I agree with Jason that it was a deeply bad faith proceeding, but at the same time, you're the president of the university. And I think the practical question of what your job is in 2024 now is an incredibly different one.
Okay, then to that very point, right? You've got the far right.
So he has to give all these caveats. Oh, it was bad faith. It was deeply offensive. But even then, he's still saying, listen, she's still fucked up. She still did the crime. Okay? She still couldn't handle it with the big dogs on Washington. Get her out of there.
Yeah. I looked up tokenism just because he said it. Mm-hmm. The practice of making only a perfunctory or symbolic effort to do a particular thing, especially by recruiting a small number of people from underrepresented groups in order to give the appearance of sexual or racial equity within a workforce. I'd say this is the perfect example of it. When you hire someone who doesn't have the same academic rigor as everyone else, just so you can say, look, our university, look, we have a first black president. Oh, amazing. That's perfunctory.
We're going after
What's up? Stop pausing.
Going after diversity and inclusion, right? Is this not about diversity and inclusion, but more What is the role of a university president? You're right. You're Harvard's president. You're going to oversee a $70 billion endowment. You're running a giant institution.
It's a business.
Are you setting this person up to fail?
Yes. And I think that when we look towards who the next president is going to be of this university and any other, part of the job description is going to be, how do you talk in front of a congressional hearing, which is about grandstanding and not articulating a policy by the book? And also, how do you raise money in a climate in which people are asking you really hard questions about what qualifies as protected speech when student safety is also at issue? By the way, I'll just note, this trade-off between safety and speech is a problem that the Supreme Court wrestles with, that no platform in Silicon Valley has ever figured out. This is incredibly difficult. And it's up to somebody who can be politically savvy in front of that audience, which is both Congress people and America, about these issues, unless...
Look, I got to point this out.
Mm-hmm.
Look in the background here.
Oh, no, I noticed he's all like nodding along and yeah.
No. He's shaking his head. He's like, this is fucking bullshit.
Incredibly difficult. And it's up to somebody who can be politically savvy in front of that audience, which is both Congress people and America.
How do you disagree with that? How do you disagree with that? That's literally one of the main jobs of the president of the university, is to be the face of the university and to hold this reputation.
It's a fucking sales job. It is a sales job.
This is like insane to me.
Yes. You are out there selling the university.
The job of a president of a university has three main roles, okay? Number one, to delegate responsibilities to other people.
Right.
Okay? Number two, to raise a bunch of money.
Right.
To get the big donors in. Yep. And number three, to be the face of the university. That's it. Those are your jobs. That's your job as the president.
Yeah. Make us
and
look
guess
cool.
What? She totally fucked up being the face of the university. And if you screw up being the face of the university, you know what you can't do? You can't raise money for the university then, can you? Because people are like, I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of rich Jews out there, okay? And a lot of rich Jews who probably went to Harvard are like, I don't know if I want to give my money to this university anymore when they're saying this crazy stuff at Congress.
They're like, genocide me, motherfucker. I just signed a check for 50 grand.
Yes, I don't think so.
That's so... What a bunch of dumbasses, man.
And this guy behind is like, I disagree with this completely factual statement about like the savviness, required to be the head of the university.
Look at the look on his face. He's like, who is this guy?
Who's this ESPN Asian man?
Go back to the football podcast, man.
That's right.
About these issues, unless you plan to withdraw from the general public discourse, which I believe at this point is untenable. I think it was actually overdue in a very cynical way. I'm saying this. It was overdue that Bud Light got dragged into the culture war before Harvard University did. And now they're here and they're not going away. And so how do you deal with it? That's a job for a different kind of academic, for better and certainly for worse.
Jason, last point to you.
That is absolutely wrong. First and foremost, the questions are only going to be asked of women and people of color. So if you say that...
Oh my, please make it stop, Sitch. Make it stop. Of course. Look, all a white man has to do is go up there and smile. Hi. I'm not answering questions today. Thank you.
Listen, if Harvard had a white man that was the president, he would have showed up to Washington, D.C. He would have sat down in that chair when Stephanie Perchek or whatever her name was asked him that question. He would have been like, listen up, lady. Calm down. Don't get your panties in a twist. Is it your time of the month? Okay. You're bleeding from somewhere. I don't know where. All right. Listen.
And then the Republicans would stand up and clap.
They would all, every Republican, not even the Republicans, the Democrats that were male. Okay? All the men in the room would stand up and clap and they'd say, sit down, woman. A man is speaking, the president at Harvard, and he's a white man. And he would say, thank you. Listen, don't worry your pretty little head. As a man, I will take care of it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm taking care of it.
Consider this taken care of.
Then he would have walked out of the halls to a thunderous applause, and the media would have said, wow, now there's a real leader. We should elect him for president.
I don't know how. Didn't he say he was an instructor at another university? Like, how do they let all these openly racist black professors at these universities?
That's wild, right? Yeah.
Look, I don't want some racist teaching my kid. It's so disgusting.
It's so funny. It's like you have the presidents of 3 elite universities are all women. And then that's used against them. It's like, well, you'd only ask these questions of a woman, wouldn't you? It's like, what? No, they're asking the presidents of the university. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, you were the ones that wanted to be the president.
Yes, this is so stupid.
It's the president.
The next president has to be prepared to answer how many bubbles are found in a bar of soap.
Yeah, but Penn's president did too, and the MIT president did too. I think it's
eventually attacked.
Look, he's like, he can't even take it anymore.
I know.
He's like, listen, put the racist stick away, okay?
He said, how many bubbles in a bar of soap? Really, the question is it against the student code of conduct to advocate for the genocide of a group of students? And he compares that question to how many bubbles are in this bar of soap?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Speaking of which, here's some Sitch lore. I was at a friend's birthday party many, many years ago.
Okay.
And they had one of those, those games where they have like, how many jelly beans are in this jar?
Oh, yeah, I love those games.
And you just guess, right?
Well, I never guess. I count them.
Oh, you sit there and you just count?
Yeah, I just count them up. Yeah.
Well, I
do like the up and down, and I do like the around the thing. I'm like, okay,
so I looked at it, and I kind of did a maneuver similar to what you did. I just kind of like calculated like a section, and then I did some math in my mind, and I guessed a number.
Good.
I got it exactly correct.
You did?
I got it literally exactly correct. Yes.
Yeah.
The person thought my friend thought
just
I cheated.
once.
Just once. I've only got it exactly correct one time. So they thought I cheated. I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, that's another one of my superpowers besides my super kick. I can sometimes completely, with 100% accuracy, count the number of jelly beans in a plastic container.
Right. I would say that's closer to my superpower.
Oh, okay.
Being lucky.
Ah. Well, I do have that superpower too, but
yes, luck is always good.
That's true. So I think what I'm trying to say is I should obviously be the president of Harvard. Okay.
Right.
Because what
Can
is
you
it
imagine
really counting jelly beans in a jar?
Can you imagine they pull out a big jar of jelly beans?
I'm going to go to Congress and they're going to be like, President Sitch of Harvard University, we have some very tough questions to ask you about racism and anti-Semitism on your campus.
But first,
how many jelly beans are in this jar?
But first, little opener here.
And I'm going to look at it. I'm going to go.
That'd be good.
362. And they're going to go,
we should get one of those jars.
And I'm going to be like, because I'm the president, baby.
No, I
coming
don't
for
think
everybody.
that's correct at all.
Sorry.
I think the strongest and best thing for an institution to do would be to not play the game and select someone that they think is best, not someone who is prepared to answer bad faith questions from a entire political party that is only interested in taking people out and not in building up institutions.
It's Pablo, not Ben. We're going to continue this conversation on another night. I really appreciate you both being here. It is a really...
Did he misname him? Did he call him Ben? And his name is
Pablo? His name is
Pablo?
Jason.
Who's?
The black guy. Wasn't it?
I thought this guy's name was Pablo. I thought he was Asian, but I guess he's not Asian. Maybe he's Hispanic if his name is Pablo.
It could be both. You don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Important and thorny conversation, and it's important that we continue to have it, because if we don't and we allow people to just stick into their corners, and neither of you are on opposing corners, I appreciate you both joining me and having an informed conversation. I'm grateful for you both.
Yes,
Thank you.
Didn't she notice how she had to say that? Oh yeah, MSNBC wouldn't let a conservative on. Come on, we know. We know where the safety versus free speech line is drawn on MSNBC.
Right.
This is a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
You respect Jason and you, Steph. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
When we come back, we are
Big
that
fan of
same-
your show.
Yeah, I think he called Pablo Ben.
No, she said Pablo and Ben, didn't she?
Oh.
I thought she said Pablo and Ben. I was confused because the other guy's name I thought was Jason.
Yeah, it is Jason. That's why I was like, Hold on.
I don't know why she called Jason Ben.
Both that we continue to have it. We're going to continue this.
An entire political party that is only interested in taking people out and not in building up institutions.
It's Pablo, not Ben. We're going to continue this conversation.
It's Pablo, not Ben.
Really appreciate.
I think she said, listen, dude, you called him Ben. His name is Pablo.
Oh, did Jason call Pablo Ben?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Ben. Who the hell's Ben?
Look, people call you Stitch, and I'm like, come on,
That's true.
it's Sitch. What the fuck?
Okay.
Why would you get that wrong?
That's
Jason.
True. I know, Jason. Come on. Well, okay.
So disrespectful. Okay, what a great cringe compilation here.
I know. Thank you so much. Woo! Our surrogate father, Daddy J-Mac, for the 50 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. That was very generous.
Everyone out there, we want you to do a drunk girl woo!
That's right. Whenever J-Mac drops a bunch of subs, everyone should go woo!
Yeah, look, you guys are all getting the sub, so
woo!
As you collect your sub for the month, woo!
That's true. That should be the new rule. If you collect a sub from someone else, okay, you should say woo.
Yes.
You have to type it out.
Yes. No, you got to scream it. I want everyone's significant other to hear it in the other room.
There you go.
Wake the dog. Anyway.
Destiny's looking for someone to debate for the January 6th insurrection. Yeah, it's weird. So I saw that on Twitter and someone tagged us.
Is that
and
where?
I was like,
what did someone super chat that, or did someone say that?
It was just in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Someone tagged me in the chat. And it was weird because someone tagged me and you, and I was like, what are we going to argue about?
They know nothing.
With that, right?
They know nothing.
It's like, what are we supposed to argue about?
They know nothing.
I don't know. It's weird.
Okay. We've been slotted in by DGG as temple conservatives.
I guess it's very stupid. So Zero Fucks sent me this tweet tweet thread.
Go ahead.
About this is Eli Mistel's response to all this Claudine Gay situation.
Oh my!
Remember
word.
our good friend Eli Mistel?
Q-tip.
Q-tip, yes. Q-tip, right. Black Alex Jones.
I'll bring up a picture of Eli Mistel so you guys can all enjoy.
Yes. I also like to call him not Don King. Right?
I mean,
I said he's not Don King.
He's pretty close though.
He's not, but he's not. He's not Don King.
Oh my God. I mean, he's got a look.
He has a look. Yes. Yes.
Oh, wow. So, what's this?
What?
He's got a picture here wearing a bald eagle American tank top.
Eli Mistel does?
Yeah.
Wow. He's not sufficiently American to wear that. I'm offended. I'm offended. How dare he? So this is what Eli Mistel said, our good friend Eli Mistel. He said, all of this happening, referring to this Claudine Gay situation, all this is happening because racist white folks had to chew with their mouth closed for 2 months after George Floyd was murdered, and now they're on their revenge arc.
It's sad because I do kind of like this guy's style. It's sad that he's such a blatant racist. I mean, it's very sad.
He continues saying, they'll keep roasting any black people they can get their hands on until they satiate their bloodlust.
Wow.
While people from apartheid states call for, quote, colorblind societies. There's never a, quote, solution for this. Racist whites just do this whenever they feel their positions of power are threatened and perceive that their sometimes reasonable white cousins and fraternity brothers are too weak and meek to stand up to them. The best advice I can give to any black person is hard to follow. So hard, I don't always do it myself. But the trick is to not ever rely on white folks for anything, because if you do, then that means they can take it away from you the moment they get it in their feelings.
Wow. Terrible.
There you go.
If Claudine Gay wasn't a serial plagiarist, she'd still be the president of Harvard, wouldn't she?
Yep.
Of course she would.
Yep.
Rules don't matter to some people. But I guess they just think they're playing by the same rules. They're like, look, rules don't matter to white folk. They honestly believe that if a white person plagiarized like that, they would still have their job.
Mm-hmm.
That all of the institutions would defend them. Even though that's contradictory kind of to reality, everything we've watched today, everything we've ever seen.
A white lady was fired way before Claudine Gay.
Yes, yeah. Well, there was no plagiarism.
I know.
You're right. Look, it's completely it's bonkers. Yeah, but he actually believes that if a white person plagiarized, was in exactly the same situation as Claudine Gay, they would still be there.
That's insane.
Crazy world.
Okay, I'm gonna have to share my screen for this. Let's see how to do this.
Oh, what do you mean? Just send me a link. What are you doing?
No, because it's like oh, you gotta enable it.
Oh, holy cow, look at this.
I have a presentation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a little
I found a picture of Eli Mistel with, it looks like Donna Brazile. Isn't Donna Brazile the one that gave the oh man,
the questions to Hillary
Clinton? Yeah, the other cheater.
Mm-hmm.
Cheater. That's a problem. If you believe that white people are out there cheating every day, you're a fool not to cheat, right?
That is the problem. That is the problem. Because this is why it's so dangerous when these people say there's no such thing as truth, it's all just power games. That is them projecting what they will do.
Yes. Yep.
So.
Yeah. No justice. Okay, look, share your screen. I guess I'm going to make you the host. That's what I do.
Make me the host.
There you go. You are officially hosted.
You are now the host.
And I will bring up, hopefully successfully, whatever you put on the screen. You do. Sitch is doing a presentation.
I got a presentation here. Okay.
Oh, it's like Christmas. Now, right. Sitch, I have to ask.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in any trouble here.
Okay.
Is any of this plagiarized?
This whole thing is plagiarized.
Oh, it is? Okay,
yeah.
Good.
I just stole this from someone else, but I'm not going to say who. Okay.
Well, it's officially been attributed, so we're safe.
Right. Well, no, it's been attributed to the being plagiarized. Yes. Okay. Do you see
academic rigor here?
Right. Do you see? I've got this little picture of Claudine Gay up and everything.
No, I can't see shit because I haven't brought it up yet.
Oh my god! You joker! You total joker!
I gotta open a whole new window. What are you talking about?
This. It's so complicated. Everything's so complicated. Look.
Oh look, I already got a window in here.
There you go.
Lucky you that I just always have random windows.
Well, I've shared my screen before. We've done this before. We're professionals.
We are. Look at this.
Right.
Oh, this is going to be fun. I can see already. Current status.
Okay.
Losing.
So Sitch. I want to talk.
Someone needs to teach you about fonts. Okay.
Listen, don't worry about it. Okay. It's fine. That's the only one that's in red.
Yeah, I intentionally it's completely illegible.
I intentionally use colors that Adam's brain can't register. Okay.
Oh, good.
It's a trigger. Anyway. Okay.
Is it green or yellow? I can't tell.
There you go. Okay, so I want to talk about Claudine Gay's performance at the Congressional hearing. All right.
Okay, look at this.
So the current status for the situation is it's a losing situation currently at Harvard. Okay, it's a losing situation. There's no winning. She's not going to Congress to win the situation. They've already lost the situation. The situation is you've seen people on these campuses tear down, posters, hostage posters. You've seen people saying "River to the Sea," saying "Intifada." You've seen videos of people banging on the doors that there are Jews in the other room. Like you've seen all these videos, right? There's no winning.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's all bad. There's no winning the situation. So the goal is not to win. The goal is to mitigate the damage, right? That's
Look
the goal.
at that. This is amazing. That's exactly right. We're in media training here. Media training 101.
This is for Jason. This is the media training for Jason. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Mitigate the damage.
Right. So let's talk about the possible things that Claudine Gay could have said at Congress. Okay. Things to save your college. There are 3 things she could have said. Okay.
Okay.
Number 1, calling for the harm or death of a group of people does violate the student code of conduct, and Harvard is doing a full-scale review into these incidents, right? Okay.
Ooh, that sounds good. Look, immediately I'm like, thank you.
Now, going into this would have been my prediction. If you were to say, Sitch, predict what they'll say, I'll say they're going to give this response. This is the nothing response, right?
This is the problem. We've talked about this, Sitch. You think people are going to do the smart thing.
Right.
That's the problem.
I mean, listen, if I know that I'm like the head of Harvard and I'm getting paid the big bucks to represent my school and I have to testify to Congress and they're very angry at me, I'm going to prepare a little bit, right? I'm going to sit down with my little PowerPoint presentation. My media training people, we're going to have a conversation.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. And so this first answer is what I would have expected. This is the boilerplate non-answer, right? It's like, well, I'm going to listen. I hear you. I understand you. And I say this with respect. Okay. I'm going to channel my inner woo and say, I say this with respect. Okay. You are correct. Calling for the harm of this does violate the student code of conduct. And it's awful. It's terrible. And we are doing a full investigation to look into these incidents, right? And that's all you say.
Yeah.
All you say, right? Classic non-answer. Okay. That'd be choice number 1. Choice number 2. Harvard as an institution is completely against these horrible statements, but we have a strong commitment to free speech and we allow this on campus. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, she did sort of give this response a little teeny tiny bit, but there's a big problem with this response. And the big problem is, as we all know, Harvard was ranked dead last in terms of freedom of speech by the Fire Institution. So nobody believes for a second this.
Yeah, I would say the problem with this is this second line. However, we have a strong commitment to free speech. That is a bold-faced lie.
Right. So that's why this number 2, this answer would be a bad answer because no one would believe it, right?
No one did believe it. I mean, they kind of tried to do this.
They did a little bit, right? No one really believes it. Okay. So what's number 3? Number 3 would be calling for the harm and death does violate the code of conduct. However, the president, Claudine Gay, fights that the statements from the river to the sea and Intifada do not necessarily mean harm or death, so it's not a problem. Okay.
Right.
Now, this is the answer the leftists wanted. They wanted her to get into a long, protracted fight on Congress that actually the students weren't doing this thing. They weren't actually, advocating for violence. Now, this would be a terrible tactic, okay? You don't want to get into a protracted fight about this in front of Congress. It would make you look stupid. It would make, you get bogged down in the weeds of technicalities of the conversation when all the politicians would be grandstanding around you, making you look like a huge a-hole. Okay.
Yeah.
So these were the 3 options available to Claudine Gay, right?
Mm-hmm.
When she went to Congress. So I know that you're familiar with superhero movies, Adam.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So a classic trope in superhero movies is figuring out the choice not mentioned, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah. The third option.
The third option.
For me, it would be like to pull out the cocaine and
yes, right.
start chopping it up very slowly.
Right. You have.
Give me a minute.
Right. You have. I've got your girlfriend on one side, Peter Parker, and your aunt on the other side. I'm going to throw them both off the building, Spider-Man, and you can't save both of them, right? Classic hero dilemma. Yes. And the hero has to figure out the third option, right?
Yes. Well, the screenwriter usually figures it out. The hero just does it. Hero executes it.
Right. So Claudine Gay here, okay.
Oh, no.
She's got to figure out the 4th option.
Right.
The 4th option. She's in a no-win situation, right? What is the 4th option? What is the option Claudine Gay goes with?
The unexpected option.
Yes, they were calling for the harm and death of a group of students based on their religion, but it's fine. It doesn't actually violate Harvard's code of conduct. She went with the worst option. It wasn't even on the board. She wasn't even there, Adam. That wasn't even an option. She literally went into the depths of hell, the depths of retarded hell, and pulled up the dumbest option available. It wasn't even there. She's retarded Captain America.
Oh my God.
How do you come up with this answer? How do you do this? It's the worst conceivable answer a human could have given in that fucking hearing. How did she do it? She found the fourth option. She's retarded.
Oh my God. It is so bad. Yeah.
I don't think people really appreciated how poor her performance was in that hearing. So there you have it.
Yeah.
Claudine Gay shall forever be known as retarded Captain America. Okay.
Wow. Captain Harvard.
Captain Harvard. Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
So thank you. This ends my TED Talk.
Will she go down as the worst Harvard president in human history?
I mean,
maybe.
Yeah, modern history. I'm sure there was some Harvard president that like killed a hooker or something like 100 years ago.
Well, thank goodness. Yeah. Her epitaph will read, Claudine Gay didn't kill a hooker.
Well, there it is.
Good job. That was great.
Thank you. Okay, let me read the rest of the super chats.
Oh man.
What?
That was awesome, man. That was totally awesome. That was worth the price of admission. That's worth a drunk girl. Woo!
The Libertarian Trap for 15 months says, Happy New Year's, everyone. Hope it started out great for you all. Well, thank you. It did. It did. And Happy New Year to you guys.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Fiery Patriot for 7 months says, Hey guys, love ya. Oh my God. S-Class eats sushi with a wet noodle. A-Team reigns supreme. Fake!
Nice.
I eat with my fingers. Like a man.
Like a man.
Pabaxi, thanks so much for the 20 euros, says, so Gay took the Kobayashi Maru test, but instead of cheating correctly, she made the test even harder for herself.
She did. She did.
True. That's good. I like that. I like that. PC for $2, and even though I swear, PC, you've given us a bunch of super chats, this says it's only your 5th ever super chat, so that's interesting. But thank you. PC.
Really? That's got to be fake news.
I mean, it's very confusing. But it says doing your job honestly is oppressive. That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Lovecraftian Guy for $10. Thank you so much. And for the for their 5th ever super chat. Says, big fan for over a year. What's your thought on Thomas Sowell, also known as Thomas Sowell? I can't decide between A-Team and S-Class. I'm very sorry. Keep up the good work. Also, please watch Horses Everything You Hate video. Horses Everything You Hate. Well, I'll check that out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. And I love Thomas Sowell. I've read... Well, is it possible to read all of Thomas Sowell's books? I would argue it's not. I think he has like 50 of them.
He's a lot of them, yeah.
He has a lot of books, yeah. But I have read probably a half dozen at least. So Conflict of Visions is the one that's like a must read. That's almost like a prequel to The Righteous Mind, actually. So that's a great book. I like Black Rednecks and White Liberals is a fascinating book. Basically makes the argument that American black culture is actually based on the Scottish drunken culture, or I think it's Scottish. It might be Irish, but
that's
one of those cultures. Yeah. The luck of the Irish. Where's my whiskey?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great book. Yeah. Basic Economics is a little dry. But I
like Thomas Sowell, but And he has a very good line about but nothing's good or bad, it's just trade-offs or whatever.
Yes.
Which I think is very true, often case. I mean, I think he's too ideologically biased in one direction, but I do think he's a really good resource. So
Sitch read his book on the housing crash.
Yeah, it kind of triggered me.
And was not a fan.
Yes.
Even though that book is amazing.
Stacking Damage, thanks so much for $20. Says woke people think diversity of thought and diversity of skin color are the same thing because they think skin color determines your thoughts. It's just fancy race essentialism. A team is base team and S class is breast class. Well, thank you.
Wow.
But you actually are correct. That's a good point. That is why they do associate, skin color with diversity of thought. So that's true.
Yeah. That's how they can get the blackface of white supremacy. Unfortunately.
Cyborg for $5 says S-Class is the best class. And A-Team drinks Jim Beam and abuses squirrels.
Hell no, I saved the squirrels.
Wow. Okay, terrible. Jack H for 15 months says, I'm probably still voting for Ron in the primary, but good Lord, those high heels and all the other weird campaign decisions make it difficult to do so.
That reminds me.
Yeah.
I know the people who...
You don't like those boots?
For DeSantis? I mean, I'm
like
agnostic on the boots. Look, he's in the game. He's trying to be a couple inches taller. I get it.
Right.
He wants to look presidential, and presidents are tall. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's bad when you're standing next to Nikki Haley and she's 2 inches taller than you.
I mean, she's wearing heels. It's not fair, right?
It's not. Yeah, why can't he wear heels? Look, fair is fair. I thought we made it past all this gender nonsense.
True.
But I just look, we in the very beginning,
yeah,
when we did analysis of every single debate, and another one is coming up here. It's in a few days, I think.
I don't know if are we going to cover it because it's literally only Ron and Nikki. Might be boring.
I mean, yeah, well, we can talk about that. We don't necessarily need to cover it, but I did notice someone didn't poll high enough to get in the debate.
Was it a man named Vivek Veeraswamy?
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Mm-hmm.
We predicted it, man. Everyone said, no, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to resist. I'm not going to look. Did you see the way that he got out of it, though? He tried to make it be, look, I don't want to be in the debate because Donald Trump got taken off the ballot in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that?
I did see that, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's funny. I had a conversation with my more left-wing family members, and they were pretty strongly convinced that Donald Trump is going to be the one to say that he's not going to debate Joe Biden.
Yes,
and I was like, it's not going to happen, right?
You said that, and I was horrified at that prospect.
Yeah. They said it again. I had a conversation with them about it, and I was trying to convince them. I'm like, you understand? If Donald Trump didn't debate Joe Biden, it would make him look so bad, so awful. It's ridiculous.
Joe Biden is already running campaign ads, and he's hitting the fine people thing again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Brana Greyjoy repeated the fine people thing, which not really fair, but
right.
It's like made it into the lore. I don't know why Trump doesn't. If I was Trump, I would run nonstop ads of him saying, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis, they should be condemned totally. That would be like the ad. Because it's from the date, it's from the incident.
Mm-hmm.
I would just run that nonstop. Nonstop. You would not be able, because the media has completely cut that part out of the thing.
Right.
Yeah. That there needs to be wall-to-wall ads on every cable news station of that line. What do you think? That's a good strategy? Get it into the lexicon.
I think it would be good. Well, yeah, no, I think it would be good. I think it would be good.
Oh, look at this.
What?
PLO2PL. Adam, I listened to The Murderer Next Door this week, and it was fascinating. Another reminder to everyone to take advantage of your library for audiobooks. Oh, nice. And you got it from the library, too. Yeah.
There you go. Look at that.
The Murderer Next Door. I mean, I remember I was going to a taqueria that I don't frequent very often, but I remember every detail of getting a all pastor burrito from the taqueria down the street because I was so engrossed by that book. I was like, oh my God, this book is like, I literally sat there, for a couple extra minutes after they had already got my order because I was like, this is just fascinating.
It is funny that when you're doing something specific, when you're listening to an audiobook, you're like associate the memory of the audiobook with whatever it is you're doing. And so if you think about like what they said in the audiobook, or you do whatever the action is again, you instantly think of the audiobook again.
Yeah. The opening of that book, I remember going to the taqueria.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jack H. Thanks so much for the 50 months. Says I read that one. Tamungo for 7 months says, regarding Star Wars video talking about making men uncomfortable was about the Pakistani men abuse, not a new Star Wars movie. She's a bad fit, but her tact makes sense. Yeah, I thought we said that in the video, but yeah. Her statement about making men uncomfortable was from 2015. It was not about Star Wars. So,
which we did say in the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to good faith it as much as possible.
Sure.
So, but look, neither one of us have high hopes.
I mean, she should say Pakistani man. Okay.
Yeah. Look, why are you throwing us under the bus?
What did I do? Listen, I didn't throw acid in anyone's face.
Yeah.
PC for $5 says, Harvard, quote, we knew she had no ill will in her heart. Also Harvard, we have to look at the context for calling for genocide. That's a good point, PC. That's a really good point. I heard that one. Todd Sullivan for 20 months. Thank you. He says, pull up Chocolate City at MIT. I don't know if you've covered this story or not. No, I never heard about this. So if you type in Chocolate City at MIT, apparently they have like residential housing that students can organize, and they can name themselves like what their residence is and what it's based off of. And if you look on the MIT's website for residency, they have students organized a residency area called Chocolate City.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, Chocolate City is a brotherhood of MIT students and alumni who identify with urban culture and share common backgrounds, interests, ethnicities, and our experiences. By cultivating a tradition of social, intellectual character and leadership development, the Brothers of Chocolate City exemplify a high standard of excellence which is founded on continual growth. We seek to enrich the MIT and greater global communities by embodying the principles of our brotherhood. And then they have like a video.
Are they black or?
Yes.
Okay. It would be odd if they were a bunch of white dudes. And they're like,
in Chocolate City.
Chocolate City.
Yeah. Well, it says alumni who identify with urban culture. I'm assuming. Yeah.
Right.
So, and they have like an 8-minute video talking about what they're doing. So there you go. I mean, that's interesting. But I guess they're having fun with it. So.
That's such a weird way to say that you're black.
Good for them. Joe the Mig for $5 says, hey fellas, did you see the Business Insider went after Bill Ackman's wife? Wokeoids are circling the wagons. I did now because you said it, which is interesting. Business Insider wrote a very long piece about Bill Ackman's wife. Now, Bill Ackman is the hedge fund manager who was going pretty hard after Claudine Gay. Glenn Greenwald was very mad at him.
Right.
Glenn Greenwald's take on this situation is kind of hilarious. I watched it on Rumble the other day. His whole thing is like, yeah, she plagiarized, but this is all to support Israel. I was like, okay, calm down. I know you don't like Israel, but chill out here, buddy. So there's this Business Insider piece that's all about Bill Ackman's wife. Apparently, according to Business Insider, Bill Ackman's wife did a bunch of plagiarism on her doctoral dissertation.
Wow. So they got her too. Good.
Well, actually, it says they're claiming, no, I haven't looked into this, but they're claiming she plagiarized multiple paragraphs of her doctoral dissertation. So, and then they have a bunch of side-by-side examples, which, on one hand, it's kind of shitty to go after someone's wife, right? Like they're not involved. I don't know if his wife was saying anything about the situation.
Bring the
so I don't know.
down.
On one hand, I would say, it's fair game. He's going after someone hard for plagiarism. If they truly plagiarized, then I guess it's fair. On the other hand, it's always weird to go after someone's family member or wife as opposed to them specifically. So it is kind of bizarre that they did that. But, they got to do whatever they got to do. They got to find whatever avenue they can to defend Claudine Gay here.
She should have done her thesis in a YouTube video, because then it's transformative content.
Right.
Then you're safe.
Ostracy.
Oh no.
What?
Drew.
Oh, we'll get there. Ostracy, thank you so much for being Discipline Equals Freedom for 21 months. Thank you, Ostracy. Says, hi, Sitch. Hi, Adam. Hi, Ostracy.
Hello.
Thank you for 21 months of Discipline Equals Freedom.
Yeah. Ostracy's great.
Lucy Lemonbug, the queen sticker. How disgusting. But thank you for the 10 months. Says, hi, Wormy. There you go.
Hey, Lucy.
You're not Wormy.
Oh. Well, hey, he says hi.
Okay. Jay, thank you for the $5. Says, let's take a look into this Harvard guy's past work while we're at it. Thinking face smirk.
Oh, yeah.
True. We should look into all these people.
I don't think he was a professor at Harvard, though. I think he was a teacher at some other school.
Oh, maybe.
That's why he kept saying, why? Who cares about the Ivy League? There's all these other schools that nobody cares about that I teach at.
Right. It's just Abby for $5 says, I might have been a crap student at university, but at least I never plagiarized. LOL. There you go. You got something.
Yeah.
Listen, you've got more dignity and integrity than the president of Harvard University, okay?
I never plagiarized either. I reworded things enough.
I never did anything like that in college. I mean, I probably did that in grade school. I never did anything like that in college.
I would do the attributions because it was always easier.
Yeah,
you just like, look at this. Like, I'm dumped this whole paragraph in there.
There you
It's
go.
like half a page.
Quote, boom.
Yeah.
Done.
You got to drop the quote in or you got to reword it.
Contrast for 21 months. Thank you so much, Contrast for 21 months. Says, Happy New Year's, boys. Tanking is a job. Healing is an art. DPS is a science. Comic win.
Soon. I'm telling you, I'm getting close.
I think tanking is, well, I would argue that for most fights, tanking is the most difficult job to do. So tanking is always a lot of fun. Healing in some fights is difficult, but I'd say overall it's the easiest.
We all know how you feel about healing.
We do. Healing is for women.
Yeah.
It's true. Healing is for women to sit in the back row and to heal the men who are doing the tanking and the DPS. Because, baby, I'm going to stand in the fire all day to get number 1 on the DPS charts, and you're going to heal me through it.
Wow.
I can't move. If I move, I lose. I move, a quarter second of DPS. Anyway.
DPS, what does that stand for?
Damage per second.
Oh, okay.
Brian Bishop for $10 says, the wife says, quote, if Sitch does a face reveal and he's a...
He's a fat what?
If Sitch does a face reveal and he's a third as attractive as Adam, I'll switch my hall pass. I prefer younger men. Wow. Oh my God. Brutal. What happened to Adam's biggest fan, Gemini Semini? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to him.
He must have got himself a boyfriend. Good for him.
There you go. Wow. Stealing the hall pass away from Adam. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see when I do the face reveal. Chachi McSwag for $5 says, I'm 2 hours behind, but Mara Gay is the meme journalist who said Michael Bloomberg could have paid every American $1 million instead of campaigning. Did he really say that? Oh my God.
He did
she not
pay a lot for the votes that he got.
How
I
much?
saw a breakdown. And
wait a minute. No, he couldn't have. What the fuck? Wait, how much did he spent? How much did he spend on his campaign?
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
Wait, what?
But I do think it was something like $100 or $200 a vote, or I mean, somebody did the math on how many votes he got and how much he spent, and it was obnoxious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I know he spent a lot, but I don't think it was $1 million worth of personal lot. Would that be? Wait, how many billions is that?
I don't know.
That's a lot of billions. I don't think he spent that many billions on it.
$1 billion is 1,000 million, so he'd have to get
a lot.
Well, it would be 1,000 votes if it's $1 million a person.
No. To give every person in America $1 million.
Yes. So
yeah,
that would.
I don't think he spent that much.
$1 billion would buy 1,000 votes.
Right. Okay. Let's see. I read that one. Rico Zoro for $10 says, I think it's pretty clear Claudine Gay didn't see Black Klansman. Or did she? Oh, that's true.
I didn't see Black Klansman.
I did see it. It wasn't that good. Sketch for 17 months. Thank you, Sketch. Says, Sitch, check your DM request. I sent over a list of my woke media qualifiers for you. Let's see.
Nice.
Sketch. Characteristics of woke art. Oh. Main characters are not allowed to fail. This applies twofold. The protagonists are women. That is true. Okay, I'll check it out. Let's see. Number 2, characters are perfect. Do not have to make sacrifices. Have everything they need to succeed from the start. Women behave like poor men. Yeah, okay, I'll look at it. These seem pretty on the nose. These seem pretty accurate. Cool.
We have to stop saying woke.
I know, we need a better term, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. PLO 2PL, thank you for joining the Free Will Seekers. Thank you. Cracker for Joy says, are you guys going to cover the Destiny Shapiro debate? I guess we'll see. I'm sure it's going to be crazy. So we probably will.
This says this Saturday, January 6th debate. Did you see this? ZeroHedge.com.
What? The debate's happening this Saturday?
Destiny, Glenn Greenwald, Alex Jones.
Yes.
Bryan Cranston. Oh, I hate that guy.
Bryan Cranston?
Yeah. It's
Wait,
like it's like a 3v3 debate.
Bryan Cranston, like from Breaking Bad?
No, the Bryan Cranston from Twitter.
There's another Bryan Cranston. I knew that he was debating Glenn Greenwald and Alex Jones.
Oh, wait. Cranstonstein.
Oh, okay. I'm super confused.
Or Krasenstein.
Wait, no, isn't Krasenstein going to be on his side? Isn't he like very left wing?
He's on Destiny's side.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're the two
Look,
of them.
I said it was a 3v3 debate here.
Oh, who's the 3? You just said 4 people.
Here, I'll just send you a link to the thing.
Okay.
You can look at
That
it
would make
yourself. How
more
about
sense.
that? You want to do that? I did bring it up on the stream. Everyone can see it right now.
I can't see it.
Woo!
Oh, I do see it. There it is. Okay.
Well,
yeah, I'm sure we'll watch it and cover it. If that's happening on Saturday, maybe we'll cover it on Sunday, I guess. We'll see.
Yeah. It's in a Twitter space though, so no
visuals. Well, no, but Destiny's going to stream it, right? I imagine.
Oh, I guess you're right.
If not, we'll just record it.
So. Well, it says streaming live on X.
Yeah, it'll be on X.
Remember when DeSantis did his announcement on X and it had all those technical difficulties? I wonder if wouldn't it be horrible if this debate does the same thing?
It would be funny.
January.
This is not on Spaces. Is there going to be video of it?
So this is why he was soliciting. This is why Destiny was soliciting people to debate against him.
Yes, he's trying to practice. Yeah.
He did a talk with Joe. I saw. But I didn't watch it.
I did see that. Well, but it was really Pisco talking to Joe.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. So for the most part, and then Joe did a separate Pisco talk. So, Drew Dogman for $2 says, did Adam watch Sanvi destroy Destiny on the abortion topic?
I watched it, and I watched Destiny destroy the pro-life person. And I did. I mean, you DM'd me, and I said, oh, this is terrible. These arguments are lame. And I think you thought I meant that Destiny's arguments were lame. But I was talking about the girls' arguments.
Mm.
Yeah. And look, I've heard all those arguments. This is the thing, everyone, there's really no new arguments to be heard. It'd be fascinating if there was, but the argument was the potential life argument, Sitch. I'm sure you're familiar with that one, right?
No, yeah, I am familiar. We talked about it when we were doing all the abortions stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the potential argument, the potential life argument just doesn't have a lot of sway with me.
Right. Let's see. Rico Zoro for $10 says, you dropped $150,000 on a fucking Harvard education you could have got for $1.50 in late change at the public library. Will Hunting. What will Will from South Boston say today? True. True. Did you like my Will Hunting accent?
No, it was horrible, but
you didn't like it?
I forgive you.
You parked a car in the harbor.
You like apples?
You got applesauce.
You like apples? How you like them apples? Oh, good Will Hunting.
You know, I got to play TF2 again. I used to be able to do a reasonable Scout accent, but I haven't heard the voice in long enough, so I've grown rusty. Okay.
Oh, look at this. Spencer Harmon for $20. Why are there so few likes? Yeah, good question. Don't forget to like the stream, everyone.
Like
I always wondered that.
Smash the like button. Okay.
We've had over 1,000 viewers, like 99% of the stream.
Right.
260 likes.
Hit the button. Hit the like. It costs you nothing. Okay. It costs you nothing but a little click. A little teeny tiny click. Just click the button.
Yeah.
Show your love.
Virtue signal a little.
That's right. Mr. Ubercross, thank you so much. Our surrogate lawyer, Mr. Ubercross, for the 20 gifted memberships. Thank you so much.
Welcome new members.
Larry Shoemaker for 5 months. Thank you. Says tankies are ruining our country. True. Saul for $5 says, Adam, at what point should parents get the extra vote? At birth or sometime during pregnancy? Shouldn't it be when the baby's born?
Actually birth, I think is the best time.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Otherwise you'd have people get pregnant, they'd vote, and they'd abort the baby, you know. Metalworks 41190 for 21 months. Thank you. Says, I hate YouTube telling me I can't post a super chat but not explaining why. Really? That's super weird. I don't know why. You can always send us to Streamlabs if you're having some kind of difficulty. I believe there's a link in the description. But that is very bizarre. Ostracy for another $10. Thank you, Ostracy. Says, is it okay to want everyone in that Destiny debate to lose? I mean, that's totally okay. That's totally fine.
I guess I can take it down.
I think the Glenn Greenwald, Alex Jones side is going to have a much tougher case here because I think the Destiny Cranston side has more of the facts on their side. So I'm curious if it will devolve into like a weird shit show. I mean, like I've heard Alex Jones talk a lot and he's like a mile a minute, like throwing out 20 million things. I've never heard him in a group debate though. So I'm curious as to how that's going to function with him and Glenn Greenwald on the same side. So
has we ever even heard a Glenn Greenwald debate? I'm not sure we have.
No, I've never heard him do a debate. Yeah, I don't even know how he'll perform. So.
And Glenn Greenwald, I mean, he said he was going to come on our show. Well, he never came on. Why not?
Jerk.
Come on,
What
Glenn.
a jerk.
Don't be a Can you say that? A Native American?
Don't say that.
Maybe not.
Don't say that. Fat Brown Buffalo for $10. Thank you. Says, quote, Kavanaugh hearings highlights new Democrat weapons against judges. Rape. AP News. That's pretty funny. There you go. True. Oh, Dr. Diddler hitting Adam where it hurts. Look at that.
Yeah, the truth is, Dr. Diddler, you are, because I took your wrench.
You can't take Dr. Diddler's wrench away.
I did.
He's the S-class general. You're not allowed to do that.
Not anymore.
I'm going to give it back.
You can, but
Dr. Diddler's wrench away.
I'll make it worse.
Okay. Don't do that. Listen. He's fine. Okay. Sala for $10 says you should talk to Vlogging Through History about the Civil War and slavery. He negatively reacted to Candace Owens' videos on slavery, which is based on Thomas Sowell's work. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Whoa, Sala. Whoa. If you're talking about the video I think you're talking about, we covered that video. We didn't cover Vlogging Through History's video. I don't remember seeing it. I don't know what I said about it. We covered Candace Owens talking about Thomas Sowell, right? Or wait, no. Wait a minute.
Candace Owens?
No. I'm sorry. I just confused Candace Owens with...
Yeah, don't do that.
With what's-her-face.
Oh, no.
Who's that red pill lady? That's awful.
Is it Pearl?
Pearl, yes. I just confused Candace Owens with just Pearly things. Okay, I'll check that out because I don't know what Candace Owens said about it. Because I remember just Pearly things kept quoting Thomas Sowell incorrectly about slavery, and we covered that. So okay, I'll check it out. I don't know what this is all about. And I apologize to Candace Owens for confusing her. Just Pearly things.
How could you do that?
I know.
Like such a strange...
I mean, I don't like either of them. I think they're both kind of say terrible things. Though to Candace Owens' credit, even though she says like awful things I disagree with, she is at least 100 IQ points smarter than
just Pearly things. Oh yeah, easily.
Things.
Yeah, much more intelligent. She did the crazy Hitler quotes, so maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Right. Oh yeah, maybe.
She was trying to... what was that? Like, I don't
people
know.
only
She had
cared about Hitler
argument.
because he like invaded other countries. He would have been he would have been like a good leader if he didn't invade any. I don't know. She said some weird fucking crazy shit about Hitler. Like what?
Yeah.
Wow. So, I'll check it out because I've seen some of Vlogging Through History's other content, and I thought it was pretty good. So, see. You wish it Ox for $5 says, quote, hot damn, Captain Harvard, you saved us again. The Avengers theme begins playing. Thank you, Ricochet. Stacking Damage for $10 says, woke is a good and effective term. No need to run away from it. Also, Sitch, as a Boston resident, your impression makes my penis want to walk out the door and run away. Adam, I'm sorry, yours is even worse. There you go. You're welcome.
I have a bad impression.
You did, yeah. Yeah. You don't want to park the car in the harbor? Hey, I'm walking here. That's kind of more like New York, right?
Impressions are hard. I mean, you got to like watch a video for a while. If you watch a video for a while, you can totally dial it in.
Sure.
But it's hard just doing it from, you're
On
just
the
talking
fly.
in your normal voice. Yeah, exactly.
Right. As for the term woke, I think that I like the term woke, but the problem is that it's so overused and so associated with things that when you say it, lots of people's brains just turn off and they go in a direction that they go. And so I think that's kind of the problem with the term woke.
Well, I think I convinced you when I said every time we say it, people look at us like we're Matt Walsh.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's what they think.
Right. So
if you put it in a title, they think, oh, this channel's like a Matt Walsh fan channel. And I mean, we're really not Matt Walsh fans.
No.
So it seems like a misalignment. But what do you say?
I don't know. That's
Progressive ideology.
Right. It becomes a mouthful. The regressive left. Who knows?
Oh,
Human
wow.
flourishing for
No,
$10.
look, that's like Dave Rubin's
That's true.
from like a million years ago. You can't
Human
do that. That's
flourishing
even
for
worse.
Let's bring back SJW.
Nah, that one's dead too.
Human flourishing for $10 says, I enjoyed your TED Talk, Sitch. P.S. The depths of retarded hell sounds like the great RPG starring President Gay as a player character with a suicide hotkey to restart the journey. Happy New Year's, boys. Well, thank you. That sounds like a great game. We should make it. Magor for $2 says, I'm a tad disappointed that Stephen Michael Davis didn't ask Adam about whether he'd be cool with the degenerate Sitch and Adam audience using AI to copy his art style to make Yowie on demand. But it was a great stream nonetheless. A-Team chugs cream. There you go.
Yeah, thanks. No, that was a fun stream. Definitely.
Oh, look at this. Eli Mistel donated to us.
Official Eli Mistel?
The real Eli Mistel for $2. Says, we don't need no condemnations. We don't need no common standards. No plagiarism can be awful. Hey, Whitey, leave Miss Gay alone. All in all, it's just another black woman gone. There you go. I butchered it, but thank you, Eli Mistel. Adam didn't help me.
Look, I'm not gonna say like that's horrible.
Dills 2 midget elephants. Thank you for $2. Says, have y'all heard about Stephen Hawking's in the news lately about being on Epstein's island list and the quote 2 midgets in a chalkboard thing? I don't know what the list is worth, but it blasts 2024 with a hilarious start. So I did hear that there was some mention of Stephen Hawking's on the list, but were they talking about, I assume they were talking about some other guy named Stephen Hawking, not the Stephen Hawking's, right?
Stephen Hawking was on Epstein's island?
No. So the list, my understanding of the list is that there's really nothing conclusive or that exciting about the list.
So
I
this
haven't
is
done
just
deep dive.
Epstein's like contact
people that
list,
like
right?
flew on the plane at some point or something.
Right, but the plane didn't necessarily fly to the island. It
Right,
could have like picked someone up and given
Yes.
them a ride.
Yes.
It's like the Uber of planes.
Well, a lot of these people that own private planes do this shit, especially if they're star fuckers.
Mm-hmm.
So like someone needs to go somewhere and they're like, oh, you're a famous person I want to interact with. You can use my plane, right? That actually
Of
does happen
course.
quite a lot. So I don't know if anything will come out of this about, obviously if you found who went to the island, that'd be a little bit more substantive to me than the plane list. But I'm assuming, is it like actually Stephen Hawking? I thought they meant it was some other Stephen Hawking. But there you go. What is this article? Pedophile Jeffrey Epstein offered reward to disprove claim Stephen Hawking took part in an orgy. Who thinks that Stephen Hawking took part? Oh, I guess it was him because there's a picture of Stephen Hawking at a conference in the Caribbean held by Jeffrey Epstein. So I guess there you go. Listen, I don't think Stephen Hawking was participating in any sexual activities, guys. He was already very, very much in the wheelchair at the time.
Look, you don't know that. He had a wife and he got married. I think he might even have a kid with her.
Yeah, but that was before he became infirmed.
I don't think so.
It was. Didn't you see the movie?
My Left Foot or something.
No, there was some movie about Stephen Hawking. He had a degenerate disorder. It started slowly. Like,
yeah, but
it
was his caregiver that he ended up marrying.
Okay. What's that have to do with anything?
Well, look, if he can have kids, then he can screw around, right?
Yeah, but okay.
Who are Stephen Hawking's kids? Look, he's got like 3 of them. Lucy, Robert, and Timothy Hawkins call.
How old?
This is extraordinary.
Okay, wait, stop. When were the
did
kids?
Stephen Hawking die?
Stop
Did he
it.
die? Is he dead?
Yes, he died. He died like a long time ago.
Did he really?
2018. Yes.
Oh my! I'm living in the past here.
You're like the guy who's like Jeffrey Epstein. What? Okay. So when did he? I'm assuming that he had the kids when he wasn't like paralyzed. Okay, when his body still functioned properly.
You don't know that.
How did he have kids if he can't even do the activity, Adam?
modern medicine. Think about it.
Well, then that doesn't matter. Then he still wouldn't be participating in the orgy. What are you going to be sitting there on the chair with a little like robot voice going, oh baby, rub that chair like yeah, and he's like moving his fucking like wheelchair back and forth. There's like some like underage girls dancing in front of him. I don't think that happened.
He's in a wheelchair. He didn't lose his sex drive.
I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna guess that he can't move, Adam. Do you know what happens when you can't move?
Look, sex happens in the brain, Sitch. You might want to take that into consideration if you
Someone
ever get
please explain to Adam how like the fucking body functions. Okay.
Look, you don't think
he could like he couldn't even move his hand, didn't he? Has to like blow in his little fucking straw or whatever, right? Or he could like barely move his finger.
This is why impetus drives people crazy, because they still have those feelings that they want to have sex in the brain.
I understand that, but if you're a person who has a degenerate disorder that makes it so you can't move your body like at all, I'm pretty sure you lose the feeling in your genital area.
Yeah, but it's the connecting to the brain is still there.
Okay. Listen, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Stephen Hawking did not participate in any orgies. Okay, that's a wild prediction. I'll be willing to bet $500 on it, but we'll see.
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT if Stephen Hawking could have sex.
Okay. Downers for $2 says, you notice how hard the progressives have to try to find first at this point? That woman in the bonus video claiming to be the first Dom was 4 layers deep. Are we really breaking barriers or avoiding tripping hazards at this point? That's true. That's true. They're going to run out of like first so-and-sos. They're going to be like, listen, it's the first black female retarded half, bilingual triple sow cow person to be the president of Harvard. Like, you have to keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper into the well. So.
What? Motherfucker was married twice.
He was married twice, yeah. Okay.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, Hayden. What was the midget thing that you were talking about? I'm unfamiliar with the midget thing that you referenced. What's that all about? I googled it and it did not show up.
Yeah, ChatGPT says we don't know. Nobody's talking. Yeah, but look, at least ChatGPT is agnostic. It says,
oh my God.
Despite his physical limitations, he was known to have a fulfilling personal life.
Yeah, of course they said that.
ChatGPT thinks more of Stephen Hawking's sex life than you do.
Okay.
How dare you? How dare you? Such an ableist.
Okay.
Look, he discovered dark matter. Of course he had a fulfilling sex life.
It's fake news about Stephen Hawking's having a midget fetish. That's hilarious. That's so weird. That's like a random thing. Okay. Seller for 2 hours says Stephen Hawking cheated on his wife in a wheelchair. What? Is that true?
Look at this.
Stephen Hawking cheated. Listen, I didn't actually watch the movie. I was lying.
Baron von Nemo
cheated on his wife.
He may have been bound to a wheelchair and unable to speak, but Stephen Hawking's had an incredibly complicated and complex love life that involved affairs and allegations of cheating and abuse.
This is retarded. I don't believe any of this. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Can't even move, and he's having complicated relationship love affairs. This isn't true. Who would believe
he's
it?
a fucking celebrity, man. Everyone's like,
oh my God.
Look, everyone's like,
he looks like a deflatable, wacky, wild, inflatable tube man. I don't think he's getting some. Okay, can't fucking move.
Oh man,
you're reading this fucking New York Post article. I found that line that you just read. A new book by Hawkins' old friend reveals details about his marriages and affairs. Bum bum bum.
Yeah. Look.
Oh, look, here you go. Wait, this proves me right. Okay, this article. It says, according to the book, Hawking's condition meant that Stephen had always been a completely passive sex partner as well as a fragile one. Over time, his fragility caused Jane to worry that sexual activity might kill him. Making love became a frightening and empty experience. Even the thought of sex with him felt unnatural, and her desire for him faded. He had the needs of an infant and the body of a Holocaust victim, she said. Jesus Christ.
Oh my.
Oh
Wow.
my God, this is horrible.
Can you imagine? Like, she's having sex with an Auschwitz survivor.
Jesus. That's nothing to kill the sex drive like that. Jane would become more of a caretaker over the next 3 decades, eventually feed him, dress him, and bathe him, sit with him through many hospital visits and near-death experiences. In the process, over time, she lose her own identity and with it her self-worth. The two remained married until 1985, when after a tracheotomy, Hawkins fell for his nurse, Elaine Mason, a fiery redhead who liked to skateboard and definitely knew how to flirt. Wow, what an asshole.
He's like, look, I just had this tracheotomy, but
Jesus.
baby, you're hot. Why don't you climb up in my wheelchair here?
That's pretty disgusting, actually. Like, this woman's like stood by you as you fucking become mushman for 30 years, and you're like, get out of here, bitch. I think that's really fucked up.
This is really what the incels have to be angry about, I think.
I mean, that's interesting.
Can you imagine you're like, you're an incel and this guy's like getting massive tail. He can't even walk.
Well, he's not. He's just this one woman. But there's always, if you're like famous, it doesn't matter like how fucked up you are. There's always going to be some crazy broad out there.
Well, look, there was 2 women, right? Or you didn't have sex with the second one? I haven't finished reading the article. Oh, okay. Well, come on, read it to all of us.
Let's see. So he ends up marrying his nurse. Okay. Maybe one of the reasons they bonded was she had the flamboyance he would have exhibited if he had the use of his body. Okay. For her part, she wasn't put off by his physical condition. She was drawn to it. That's weird. It's a red flag. At the time of their affair, both Hawkins and Mason were still married. Oh my God. She was married when she... Oh, now
Can you imagine?
That guy.
Oh, that's so sad.
We gotta do a fucking wellness check on that guy. I'd be like, oh my God, it's over at that point, right?
Look, I hope he was getting some on the side. Come on.
Man. At the same time, Jane was conducting her own. Oh wait, never mind. That's hilarious. His wife. Wait, his wife's name was Jane, right? Yeah, his wife was having an affair too. Okay. So I guess I don't feel bad about him divorcing his wife because she was fucking someone else too. Good for her. Elaine would travel with Hawkins wherever he did speeches. She loved his strength. She'd speak and listen to him patiently, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Jane went to Hawking and explained she was having an affair. He gave his blessing. The idea that the affair would be kept private and discreet and the family would evolve to include them all. It'd be a new arrangement, a kind of extended family. What Jane didn't expect was that Stephen would extend the family again to include Elaine. Well, listen, if she's fucking around, why can't he wheel around or whatever he was doing? If Stephen and Jane had followed a path from man and lover to infant and carer, he and Elaine followed the reverse trajectory. Okay. Well, I don't want to read the rest of this article because it's kind of gross. But
imagine the whole book. Oh my.
Yeah.
You got to be a glutton for punishment to dig into that kind of stuff.
Oh, wait a minute. So let me skip ahead. It says in 2006, he divorced this nurse, Elaine, who he ended up marrying. He divorced her for another nurse, Diane King.
Look, all he interacts with is his nurses.
Well, he's like fucking dying all the time. Who else is he going to interact with?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great pickup scheme he's got going.
I'm dying?
Yeah.
You think that's a great...
I'm dying. You want to fuck?
I don't think he could do it. Okay. I don't think he was able. That'd be my guess.
Look, you keep saying that, but it doesn't add up here. He's
what
got
do you
3
mean?
kids.
Of course it adds up. None of this stuff is saying that they had any sort of physical intimacy. Like the person said that she was afraid he would die if they had sex.
How does he have 3 kids?
He had the kids before.
That's not true.
How old are his kids?
I mean, let's look.
They look pretty old.
Read super chats here. I'm digging into this.
Okay, let me finish this stupid article. Okay, so he divorced the nurse and fell in love with another nurse who was 39 years younger than him and suffered from manic depression. Something Hawkins seemed to like. That's quite a claim, but okay. So there you go. And then he died. So there it is, everybody. The love life of Stephen Hawking.
Okay, his children were born before he was diagnosed with ALS, which gradually paralyzed him and eventually confined him to a wheelchair.
Right. So they're all
boring.
They're all children with his first wife.
Boring.
I told you. Jesus Christ. You doubt me. You doubt me. You're like, oh, Stephen Hawking's over here with his little fucking wheelchair around. Zip into all the ladies. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay.
Oh my God. I gotta show you. Wait, hold on. This picture isn't real. This is like from the movie or something. That's not Stephen Hawking.
What?
Who played Stephen Hawking? Is this really?
It was what's his face? That famous guy. His name escaping me at the moment.
Oh my God. I'm gonna bring up a real wedding picture of Stephen
Eddie
Hawking.
Redmayne.
Yeah. You look up Stephen Hawking and pictures from the movie come up. It's
Albert Cassian really wants me to know that Stephen Hawking could in fact have erections. How do you know that? How do you know that, Albert? Okay, Albert. How do you know that?
Why are you in such denial? So ableist.
Listen, I'm just guessing here, but I'm pretty sure I'm confident.
I don't know why you'd want to.
Dr. Diddler just sent me, says, I was on Steam and noticed this, and you'd be very interested in Baffled. So on Steam, they have a game called Alex Jones's and New World Order Wars. And it's like a side-scrolling retro game where you're Alex Jones and you're shooting a bunch of people. And occasionally you're joined by Donald Trump in a Superman cape and Tucker Carlson. So there you go. If you ever wanted something super cringy, check it out.
That's like a Steam game or something?
The Steam game, yeah.
Hey, you gave Dr. Diddler his wrench back already.
Of course I gave Dr. Diddler his wrench back.
What are you doing?
He's the S-class general.
He needs a timeout at least.
It's fine. I didn't read it. Listen.
I know. He's starting shit.
He always starts shit. Alex Jones is in the trailer. I think it's official. Oh, that's hilarious. No, that's a real picture that you posted. That was before he started deflating. What do you mean?
Look at him sucking up to you after you gave him his wrench back. What a suck up.
He's an S-class general, baby.
Nah, he seems like a suck up to me.
He better be. He's one of my top generals. Why do you think this photo wasn't real?
There are a bunch of photos that are actually from the movie that aren't real.
Well,
this one is real though, right?
Yeah, that was a real photo.
That's really him, and that's really his wife. Yeah.
Yes. They recreated that photo in the movie. You can see there's the color version of it. It's the one from the movie, but
look, I don't want to bring up the movie one. I want the real thing. I almost brought up the movie one and was like, look, here's Stephen Hawking and his wife, and then I was like,
they're like, well, his wife was really hot. Like, oh wait, that's the actor.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that weird? It's like the Hollywood thing.
Well, not really. I mean, usually actors and actresses are more attractive than the people they are in the movie.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of normal.
So, Explore Serenity for $5 says, woo! Thank you, Explore Serenity. Stacking Damage for $10 says, just keep framing it as woke equals anti-liberal. It's already so close and undeniable thanks to the Israel stuff. Maybe we'll just say anti-liberal. I don't know. I think it's too late. I think it's too late. I wish it wasn't, but I think it is.
Too late to what? Abandon
the term woke. It's like dead.
It's too late to abandon the term?
To save it.
Yeah, no, look. Matt Walsh says woke 20 times a day on his TV, on his show.
Right.
Yeah. That's the problem. I do sense it. I'm like, it has a different kind of valence now.
Right.
Yeah.
The
People
vibe
look at
shifted.
you like you're wearing a Klan hood.
Right.
Did you just say woke?
Meadow works for
Nazi?
$11.90 for $5. Says check out E's cultural literacy movie. It's pretty good. For some reason, I can't use the word video in certain places. Weird. E's cultural literacy movie. What is that? What is E? Like the E network?
Mm-hmm.
What's their cultural literacy movie? I can't find whatever you're talking about.
What are you looking for?
On Twitter, I guess.
How do these
Okay.
super chats keep multiplying? It's like every time I look, there's like 1,000.
That's true. There's a couple more. They're like gremlins.
That's because we're reading them, right?
PLO to PL for $2 says Hawkins had his computer just do some dairy talk. That's true. That's true.
That's hilarious.
Baby. Please stick your finger in my exhaust, just like that.
You know the story where he kept because obviously the technology got more and more updated, and he could sound smooth if he wanted to, but he's like, this is my signature voice.
That makes sense.
Of course, I'm going to keep
like
the computer voice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Give us some Stephen Hawking's dirty talk, Adam.
No,
What do you think he said? What do you think he said?
What would Stephen Hawking say?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, what do you say?
I mean, probably
Bring that
something.
black hole over here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Unlike reality, my love for you is not relative. There you go. There's your nerd joke.
Yeah. Show me your dark matter.
There you go. Stock for $5 says, just as we thought the stream was about to close, Hawking sex scandals. Is there anything the stream can't do besides say obfuscate? True.
Obfuscate.
True.
It is tough. It's like one of those things when you have to not be thinking about it.
Yeah, when you're not thinking about it, you say it easily, but as soon as you think about it, your brain shuts down.
Oh, I can say it off stream all day long.
I know.
I'm like, why the fuck can't I do this on stream?
Right. True.
It's like a barrier.
Anyways, Orca
That's
for
it?
$5 says the A is forgiven. The A in forgave is for A team. Wormy deserves a little scratch and maybe some salami. Hi, Sitch. Winky face. So I don't know what the winky face is for, but hi, Orca.
Yeah. We did a bunch of polls on the Christianity and forgiveness stuff, our fight that we had before the holidays.
That's
that
right.
we are going to go over the polls next. We're going to go over them last Tuesday, but there wasn't time. So that's in the future. Look, no one's getting trigger anymore over that shit though.
Vincent Tundo. I don't think I can show this. He made a horrifying emoji. It's a butt Sitch emoji. And it's like a butt with a Sitch face on it. I don't think I can show it. It's too terrifying.
Shady Durag is on next Tuesday. So he's coming to hang out with us.
Right. Oh, great.
Tuesday after that, Stephen Michael Davis is going to be on. I also did a talk with Stephen Michael Davis yesterday. You can check out. There's a link on the community tab. And I think that's like all that's going on. Maybe we'll cover this debate on
Sunday. We'll see.
Sunday if it's any good.
If not, I already know what video I want to cover. So.
Oh, okay. Look, if we cover that on Sunday, is DGG just going to say that we were pro January 6th? Like that's how do we penetrate the narrative?
I don't know. You can't.
It's impossible.
People are going to be retarded.
They are purposefully retarded.
Bill's special wheelchair for $2 says a wheelchair for $2, a joystick for him and one for her. He makes the girls grrr, hop in my hot rod. It's not foul oil, my wheel up. Don't forget the towel. You know I'm all about them dames and Stephen Hawking fame. There you go. Thank you, Dill.
Perfect.
Nomad for $10 says Sitch is ableist. Question mark. A team reigns supreme. Steven, you filthy dog. There you go.
Sweet.
Adam
right.
Unfriended. Look at that. It's evil
Nice.
Adam for 12 months. says, I missed some parts of your stream because I watched D&D with Dev and crew. How's your new year? And did you guys already fail New Year's goals? My New Year's been great so far. I don't ever do I never do New Year's resolutions, so I can never fail them.
Yeah.
So
I have not failed my New Year's resolution yet, so I'm doing great. Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, here's a little good thing. Don't ever do New Year's resolutions in terms of goals. I'm going to steal this from Scott Adams. Something he said that is very true. Don't focus on goals. Create a new system for yourself. Create a routine. Don't aim for a goal. Aim for creating a routine, and that will help you accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish.
Firm believer in routines.
Yes.
They work.
True.
I'm like don't break the chain for exercising every day.
Right.
I've been going months.
Exactly.
Months.
And don't ever say like, oh, listen, I'm going to break it this one time because it'll be fine. Because when you're breaking it one time, it's not like, oh, it's just one time. It's like, oh, you're breaking the cycle that's going to have the energy that's going to continue to do it going forward.
Yep. Got to keep it going.
So there you go. Anyways, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for your incredibly generous donations. Thank you for bringing up the horrible details of Stephen Hawking's sex life that we talked about. Unfortunately.
People are curious, man.
People want to know what goes on under the hood, so to speak. So anyway, you have made it to the end of the stream. You are the true free will seekers. You are the true isekai heroes. You are the true enlightened centrist individuals of all reality. You are the true people who know what plagiarism is and have no problem calling it out whatsoever and won't do a bunch of whataboutisms and fake accusations of racism. And we'll see you all on Sunday.
Bye-bye!